This feudal lord is highly scientific. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 551 Nascent Joint Agreement Execution Organization. The female banana tree person Lux is also considered a great person. However, this exchange with Gandalf the White Robe still benefited her a lot. Especially about the humanitarian ideas. She, who loves peace by nature, can talk to Gandalf the White Robe very well. In fact, she thinks this old man is a bit handsome. Unfortunately, they are of different races. Even if they can be together, it is difficult to give birth to offspring, not to mention that Lux has a small family behind her. She is the grandmother of this family, and it is impossible for her to be with others. Alas. Thinking of this, Lux couldn't help but sigh. What a good relationship. Just gone like this. In the woods, Lin Ke saw that Lux's eyes were looking at him more and more strangely and resentfully, just like those old ladies in the boudoir. He couldn't help but wonder, Mrs. Lux, is there anything else? This inexplicable look, is he exposed? Was he recognized? But even if he was recognized, he shouldn't look like this. Besides, he didn't know Lux, and he didn't even know many of the banana tree people, because this race prefers a humid and hot environment, not the environment of the great wasteland city. No, it's okay. Lux's eyes were increasingly filled with 3 parts of resentment, 3 parts of lamentation, 3 parts of sadness, and a hint of emotion. Wait. Lin Ke's eyes widened, somewhat doubting his judgment. He actually saw emotion in the fan-shaped diagram in the eyes of this old lady Lux? Exclamation mark. Let's just do this. Lux turned around decisively and then looked at the priest from a certain god behind him. High Priest Fiki, please teleport us back. Okay, Madam Lux. A god priest of a race for the conifer people nodded and immediately opened his arms, his eyes emitting white light, and summoned a light green beam of light from the star they came from in the sky. All the people on the side of the Holy Life Alliance stepped into it and teleported back to the kingdom of a certain god. Lux looked at Lin Ke with a last look of nostalgia and regret. Every line on her banana tree body was like the wrinkles on the old lady's face, telling of sadness and farewell. It was as if she was looking at Lin Ke for the last time. After looking at him, she sighed softly before stepping into the light column and disappearing. Lin Ke, no, Madam Lux, what's wrong with you? Give me an explanation? Exclamation mark. What's with that last look? Do you want to kill me? That's the look of a dying person. Lin Ke just felt puzzled. Why is this banana tree woman like this? Could it be that a strong man like astrologer DBS predicted his fate? Lin Ke thought about it seriously and did not rule out this possibility. It seems that we have to be careful in the future. The highly autonomous Holy Life Alliance is the best breakthrough point for the main plane to attack Natham. Lin Ke decided to change his identity later and no longer walk here as Gandalf. There were not many people left from the Holy Life Alliance who were watching. After 3 days of discussion, there was nothing exciting, so the spectators had left long ago. There were not many left. After all, most of the intelligent beings of the Holy Life Alliance just ate some melons casually, and their lives still had to return to hunting, giving birth and fighting. Lin Ke looked at the people of the Holy Life Alliance who left, including the spectators, and couldn't help but smile. That Lux has a good understanding of human rights. Maybe she can be recruited to be a lecturer at the Great Wilderness University? And Lin Ke's view of the intelligent beings of the Holy Life Alliance has changed greatly today. The Holy Life Alliance, maybe it's just the 2 rotten ones at the top. Well, maybe more than that. Lin Ke has been trying his best to avoid defining a person by labels, stereotypes, etc., let alone a race, a country. Therefore, Lin Ke convinced himself that, if the Holy Life was to be destroyed one day, he must give the people of the Holy Life Alliance a better life. Yes, a better life. Thinking of this, Lin Ke was about to leave in stealth. But he saw his childhood enemy, Romara from the Everfrizz Council, coming over. Respected Inspector Gandalf, hello. Romara's face was full of wrinkles, as old and hard as Lux's bark. Lin Ke narrowed his eyes and smiled. Hello, Ms. Romara, what can I do for you? "Inspector, are you going back now?" Romero smiled shyly, nodding and bowing. "Yes, I'm going back. What can I do for you?" Lin Ke asked again, with a cold attitude. Although he didn't say that he was going to avenge his childhood hatred now, he wouldn't have a good face. Moreover, he could roughly guess the reason why Romero was looking for him, which was probably to establish a relationship. "It's okay, I just want to make friends with Mr. Inspector." Romero smiled like a chrysanthemum, as if he didn't notice Lin Ke's indifference. "Mr. Inspector, will you join the NASAN Joint Agreement Execution Organization in the future?" NASAN Joint Agreement Execution Organization. This execution organization, to put it bluntly, is an organization that implements the NASAN Joint Agreement. The main purpose of this organization is to inspect and judge, and submit the relevant situations and results to the relevant departments of the three major forces. For example, when Lin Ke was a child, AO4 almost destroyed Parrot City. At that time, Romero happened to be inspecting everywhere in the south of the Black and White Kingdom, so he was transferred to investigate. There was no way. In order to prevent collusion, Emperor Wumian had made a rule that the inspectors must be from other forces when he agreed with the Sun God and the chief of the Everfrizz Council. So Romero went to Azan Castle. For Romero at that time, going to Azan Castle was like a section chief from Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou and Shenzhen going to a township under the jurisdiction of a small border town on the border, and even the road was not repaired. Backward, remote, rural. These adjectives can only slightly summarize Romero's feelings about Azan. Therefore, in her opinion, Lin Ke at that time was the kind of country noble who could be manipulated at will. If it weren't for Orth, Lin Ke would have been in danger at that time. And in this NASAN Joint Agreement Execution Organization, the people of the Black and White Kingdoms all went to the Holy Life Alliance, and the Holy Life Alliance went to the Everfrizz Council. Lin Ke is now an inspector. Romero thought that Lin Ke might come to this execution organization in the future. Maybe he wanted to curry favor in advance. You know, Romero also has a family behind him. In Romero's opinion, this Gandalf the White can gain the trust of the Sleepless Emperor. If he enters the execution organization, he will probably have considerable power. So you have to curry favor in advance. Last day for monthly tickets. It will expire if you don't give it. Chapter 552. Kidnap 2 more tribes. NASAN and the jointly agreed execution organization. Lin Ke smiled and said, "Maybe, but it's not time to change people yet. If His Majesty Wumian sends me, when I change people, I think I will execute it." Lin Ke tried his best to maintain the character of Gandalf the White Robe, that is, the inspector entrusted with an important task by Wumian. As long as Wumian has an order, the Inspector Gandalf will certainly execute it. "Okay, if you become the executor, please don't forget to visit my family." Romero smiled and said, "I will be rotated out by then, and I can entertain you in the family." "Thank you." Lin Ke nodded slightly, then took out the transformed physics, rode on it, and said to Romero, "Sir Romero, then I will leave first. The bloodthirsty and treacherous fox has not been executed, but has been sealed by the Black Rabbits, and handed over to Lin Ke. Even the connection between this Tronley and the Believers has been cut off, and it will not live long. He will be executed after all the fox people have been migrated to the Great Wilderness as much as possible, and his godhood also belongs to the Black and White Kingdom. So, now it can be said that nothing has happened. If Romero is not because of the bloodthirsty and treacherous fox Tronley, then it is to curry favor with the relationship. Since the currying is over, Lin Ke will of course choose to proceed to the next action. "Please." Romero looked at Lin Ke happily, until Lin Ke's back disappeared in the depths of the jungle, then turned his head, and looked at the other 2 executors. "Let's go too." The priest of a god in the Everfrizz Council immediately summoned the Kingdom of God to teleport, and they stepped into it one by one. The latest mound bicycle? Is Gandalf the White Robe related to the Duke of Lava? The Duke of Lava, he was just a 6-year-old kid back then. If that time. Thinking of this, Romero sighed, his face returned to the serious look of the past, and finally stepped into the light column, and returned to the Kingdom of God. Lin Ke watched Romero wait for the people of the Everfrizz Council to leave, and waited for all the spectators to leave, and did not remove the optical invisibility. Eternal Frozen Court. Lin Ke thought silently for a while, and then rode away, leaving in the direction where the Axe-Fang Tauren chieftain left. This time, if we want to do something, we have to do it big. But how can the Fox tribe be enough? The Tauren tribe is a superior life. This is the best warrior on the battlefield. In the mythological era and ancient times, the Tauren tribe could even be kings on their own. It's just that the IQ of the Tauren tribe is more touching, or it can be said that they are true to their nature, but it also shows how strong the Tauren tribe is on the battlefield. This is a race that has become a superior race by relying on combat ability. Of course, there are only a few superior races in the Holy Life Alliance. It is estimated that many races have become superior by relying on melee combat capabilities, and many races have become superior races by relying on their terrifying magic talents. But in short, when Lin Ke was still Phaser Buck, he had talked with the chieftain of the Axe-Fang Tauren tribe, and knew that Axe-Fang had always been dissatisfied with the weakness and conspiracy of the Ratman Lord. Moreover, the Rat Lord has always wanted to centralize power, which is unacceptable to many tribal chiefs and ethnic leaders. Centralization means that the people of these races and tribes are likely to become cannon fodder or pawns. This is also one of the reasons why most races and tribes are unwilling to submit to the Rat Lord. As for the Sun God, because of the disputes among the 5 holy life races in ancient times, he is now like a mascot, or a tool god. Anyway, when negotiating and fighting with other major forces, the Sun God of the Holy Life Alliance will do it himself. If he wants the tribe to contribute, he must ask the tribe's opinion and only contribute after agreeing. The reason why the Tauren chieftain agreed to go to Fassa to participate in the nobles' deliberation was that he deliberately wanted to find a way out for his tribe. Because he knew that the Rat Lord could no longer hold back from imitating the Black and White Kingdom and centralizing power after he was promoted to level 25. This is also Lin Ke's opportunity. The Great Wasteland City is poor. Or rather, the Great Wasteland Plain is poor. Lin Ke is also ambitious. Since Lava Territory has become the Great Wilderness Plain under the conspiracy of the Deep Blue Grand Duke, why not just become the Great Wilderness Main Plain? However, to become the main plain, high-end strongman, middle-class strongman, low-end strongman, mature social production models, sufficiently developed law systems, vast plains and time and space, etc. are all indispensable. And now, the Great Wilderness City lacks everything. But then again, in fact, there is nothing missing, as long as Lin Ke is willing to rely on his parents. Whether it is Andrew or Emperor Wumian, there are plenty of resources. Not to mention directly making the Great Wilderness Plain the main plain level, but speeding up the process is possible. Of course, there are several key points that must be done, such as the new rule system is different from NASAing, such as disconnecting the link between the 2 planes, etc. But that is a matter for the future. Now the most important thing is to enrich the Great Wilderness Plain. It is not to enrich the Great Wilderness Plain space itself. After all, the Great Wilderness City can no longer accommodate it. Instead, it is to enrich the plains under the command of the Great Wilderness City. You know, when Lin Ke just came back from Fassa, he sold the dividend rights of many plains. The number of those plains that have been developed is still in the single digits, and there are thousands waiting to be developed. Lin Ke is short of people. There was no shortage of people before, because the operating system of the Great Wilderness Plain could not even guarantee the cleanliness of the water source. However, after the battle in the forest hut, the natural tree has solved this problem, and even only 5 trees are needed to solve it. The ability of the natural tree Lin Ke is even stronger, and the purification ability is estimated to be limitless when it grows up. Now, even if 10 million people are moved to live in the Great Wilderness City, it can accommodate them. As for other plains, at least the entire Fox tribe can be moved in. What Lin Ke has to do now is to fool all the tribes of the Tauren chieftain. Persuade them all to leave. Speaking of which, the Black Rabbit man who looks like Nyx is also a legendary, and there are also very rare imprisonment laws. It is estimated that the tribe he belongs to is not small. Pack them all up and take them away. Lin Ke sped along the direction that the axe-toothed Tauren chieftain had left. The physics disguised as an elite bicycle had never sped so many times in such a short time. from chasing the bloodthirsty and treacherous Foxtron leader now looking for the axe-toothed Tauren tribe chieftain, the physics was finally not a means of transportation. Before, Lin Ke had never used the physics so well. At this time, under the speed, not only did he feel great, but even the flow of the magic power of the physics became smoother. Until Lin Ke heard a voice. "Hey, Mr. Gandalf, or should I call you Buck? Or, National Day Update. Please vote. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 553, Mature Tribal Society. Lin Ke braked immediately and rushed forward for a long distance under the action of inertia. His physics is to drive in the sky, which can automatically form an air pressure road under the tires, and the brakes are also braked in this way. It has to be said that this kind of riding consumes a lot of energy, but fortunately Lin Ke's meditation method is Andrew's element capture meditation method, and his talent is also top-notch in NASM. After stopping, Lin Ke saw the leader of the Axetooth tribe in front of him. Axetooth. According to Axetooth himself, in those days, he inherited the tribe after his father's death, and then changed his name to Axetooth 3 years later, named after himself, and named after himself, and named after some of the Minotaurs in the tribe, forming his own legion, titled Axetooth Warriors. Lin Ke met this chief in those days, because of the death of Ofu. Scarlet Wilderness inquired about the news, and then met the Baruto warriors under the chief. The silly Baruto was slapped on the back of the head all day long, and his full name is Baruto Axetooth. Chief Axetooth, long time no see. Lin Ke braked 100 meters away from Chief Axetooth, and then rode slowly over. At this time, Chief Axetooth was lying on his side on a towering ancient tree, holding a fine iron enchanted longsword and leisurely polishing his right horn, sweeping his cowtail back and forth, to sweep away flies and insects. Seeing Lin Ke coming, he put away his bicycle, used the air shield to support his body, and then Axetooth stood up from the tree. "Long time no see, Lord Gandalf." Axetooth smiled and said, "It's not been long. How come Lord Gandalf has become so old? Is this a new trend in the Great Wasteland City?" Lin Ke landed on the tree at this time and smiled bitterly. "Chief Axetooth, don't make fun of me. Originally, I was going to come directly to you this time. We should build a transit teleportation array between us." The purpose of his trip was originally for the Minotaur tribe, and the Fox tribe was just a coincidence. Of course, this kind of coincidence is like, you originally wanted to spend 20,000 yuan to buy jury questions, but on the way to buy a car, you picked up a galaxy-class multi-dimensional space cosmic iron star destroyer. You wanted to kidnap a tribe of Minotaurs, but ended up kidnapping a whole tribe of Marksmen. It was so cool. It is probably thanks to his lucky bloodline that many things have the shadow of lucky for Lin Ke. Otherwise he would not be so lucky. Teleportation array? Axe laughed. "Aren't you afraid that the sun god guy will kill directly from there?" While laughing, Axe patted Lin Ke's shoulders and back, making a bang bang sound. Fortunately, Lin Ke's body is not weak. If it were someone else, he would probably be seriously injured on the spot. "That's right, then just move all of you to Dahuang City." Lin Ke smiled and said, "There is food and accommodation, and you can also go to university to study and borrow books from the library." Axe, you don't want your tribe to fall behind, right? Fall behind. Let's go, and we'll talk as we walk. Axe looked thoughtful, but after a moment he said to Lin Ke, "I'll take you to the tribe. You human nobles like to drink juice, but we like to drink wine. I'll take you to taste the strongest wine. The wine of my Tauren tribe, Nasan, is the best." Lin Ke nodded. "Okay, then I'll change back to my original appearance first." Under the protection of Axe's legendary aura, Lin Ke returned to his original appearance. Gandalf the White Robe has returned to the Black and White Kingdom for inspection, and now it is Lin Ke who is visiting the Axe tribe. Lin Ke doesn't need to fly by himself. It's too slow for him to use the air pressure shield. Compared with the legends like Axe, even with other thermodynamic skills, it's still slow, so he can just let Axe take him directly. In less than half a day, Axe brought Lin Ke to his tribe. Axe tribe. Arriving above the Axe tribe, Lin Ke looked around and saw that the scattered Axe tribe buildings were endless, and there was not even a fence. These buildings in the tribe seem to be built with stone, wood, animal bones and other things, and are engraved with ancient and mysterious secret texts. The whole tribe reveals a sense of simplicity and wildness. People come and go in the tribe, and strong men often rise and fall in the sky. The tribe is also bustling with people and looks lively. Most of the people here are Tauren, and a small number of other races can also be seen. Some Tauren have just returned from hunting, and some Tauren go to collect fruits and vegetables. There are also farmers, blacksmiths, trainers, traders, etc. It looks like a large city. This is a large tribe. Lin Ke may feel that this tribal society is actually a human city in a different way. The social division of labor system, social interpersonal relationships, etc., although complex, are also very orderly and well regulated. Sure enough, the Holy Life Alliance has existed for tens of thousands of years, and it is not just maintained by those few strong men. This ancient and advanced social form is not comparable to the tribes in the previous life that only knew how to throw stones and hunt. Axe Fang took Lin Ke all the way to the center of the tribe. The closer he flew to the center, the quieter the sound became. The Minotaurs always had deep and loud voices, but the closer he flew to the center, the quieter his voice became. Until Lin Ke saw an altar. An altar that looked hideous and terrifying, but at the core was a few pieces of rotten stones. Lin Ke was shocked by the altar in front of him. He judged that the thing in front of him was an altar, because the area in front of him was filled with a strong power of faith. But the appearance was not like that. In the center of the altar were two cylindrical stone pillars, which were also the place where the power of faith was the strongest. There were several simple, crooked secret characters engraved on them, mainly gathering the power of faith and storage. On the periphery, surrounding this altar, that was not even as high as a dining table, there were layers and circles of densely packed bullhorns. Bullhorns of various colors, models, and energies, with the horn tips pointing upwards towards the altar, and Minotaur warriors coming and going, wiping these bullhorns with cotton cloth. Looking down from above, it was as if the ground was covered with horns, or a bloody mouth with sharp teeth, and each horn was a tooth. This is the horn altar of our Axetooth tribe. Axetooth looked at the altar not far away, with some pride and yearning in his eyes. Every Tauren who has worked hard for the tribe and made significant contributions will have one of his horns cut off and placed here after his death, and the other horn will be made into a weapon and rewarded to the bravest warrior. I really hope that one day my horn can be placed in it, but for sure, I'm the only legendary chief in thousands of years. Ha ha ha. Before, you told me that the food and clothes in the Great Wasteland City are good, so let me go. Now you should know. Haha, there is something in our Axetooth tribe that we absolutely cannot give up. That is, this horn altar that is connected to the earth. The horns above are inhabited by the heroic spirits of the ancestors of my Axetooth tribe for tens of thousands of years. As long as the altar is there, the tribe will be there. If the altar is destroyed, we will fight to the death. Chapter 554. Still want to kidnap? This is our Axetooth tribe. Chief Axetooth's eyes were full of pride. Tradition is a soul, or in other words, the blood passed down from our ancestors is a soul. Tradition equals blood equals soul. Among the people Lin Ke has come into contact with so far, many people value blood. This is true for both the Tauren and the humans of the Black and White Kingdom. Because all the blood possibilities are accumulated and fought out bit by bit by the ancestors. This is true for the nobles and lords of the Black and White Kingdom, and for the tribes here. A long time ago, Nassen was not the main plane, and many races had been fighting with the intelligent life of other planes, until Nassen became the main plane. Some genes from that time were therefore passed down. Lin Ke respected such people who did not abandon tradition very much, but he wanted to abduct the Tauren tribe instead. The more of this kind of high quality population, the better. For the controller of the Great Wasteland City, the Tauren are always better than those races that only eat and wait to die, and waste element and air. If there are any rotten tribes or self-rotten tribes in the future, Lin Ke will probably have a headache. By the way, Chief Axe. Lin Ke spoke weakly when Axe was feeling proud and self-moved. Axetooth said with a little pride, "What's wrong?" Lin Ke asked. Have you ever considered taking away all the land planted with ox horns? I mean, the land dedicated to the ancestors? There is a large piece of land in Dahuang City that can be planted, can be dedicated. Axe tooth. Lin Ke added fuel to the fire. Or I can ask Emperor Wu Mian to move this piece of time and space directly over there. Make sure it is intact. Axe tooth. Lin Ke said again, you know my teacher Andrew, maybe I can pack up the rules of this area intactly and move it over there? Didn't you say that where the altar is, where the people are, and what altars and life and death and so on? If the altar is in Dahuang, your Axe Tooth tribe should go there, right? Axe Tooth was speechless and alert. I warn you not to mess around. Don't think you can mess around, because I can't beat Emperor Wu Mian. Our Holy Life Alliance is not easy to mess with. We also have the powerful Lord Sun God. Even if Emperor Wu Mian and Andrew join forces. Axe Tooth's voice became smaller and smaller. It seems. I really can't beat them. Not to mention that Emperor Wu Mian and Andrew joined forces. They can't beat them even if they didn't. If Emperor Wu Mian and Andrew joined forces, it would not be a question of whether to fight or not. The many lives of Nasan would have to consider the sinking of Nasan and the relocation to a new plane. Oh, of course. Lin Ke waved his hands quickly. I'm not that kind of black-hearted capitalist. Of course, not all of them. Bah. I'm not. How could I do something like kidnapping all of you? Even if I did, I wouldn't say it so obviously. The more Lin Ke spoke, the more alert Axe Teeth became, and he was considering whether to pinch him to death here first, but fortunately he resisted the urge. At this moment, a minotaur seemed to have seen them and flew up from the ground. Chief, you're back. Hey, isn't this Lin Ke? A muffled voice came, as if the sound was ringing in the chest, like beating a drum. I told you, don't call people by their full names. It's very rude in the human world. Axe Teeth slapped the visitor on the back of his head. Oh, I see. The Minotaur warrior scratched his head. Long time no see, Baruto. Lin Ke greeted him with a smile. Why do you look stronger than last time? For Minotaur, praising them for being stronger than before is the same as praising women for having a better figure and better skin recently, whether they are male or female Minotaur. Muscles are their appearance. And this Baruto was the one Lin Ke met in a branch of the Scollard Wilderness in the Abyss. It was also through Baruto that I met the Minotaur chieftain Axe Teeth. My muscles have grown. Really? Baruto opened his eyes as big as a bullseye, then looked at his arms and thighs, muttering to himself, they say that eating wild boar people will increase latitude. It seems to be true. Lin Ke was stunned. What the hell? I just met and said hello. And you don't have to say what you think in your heart. Fool. Lin Ke didn't mean that your muscles have really grown. Fuya held his forehead helplessly. Lin Ke didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Haha, brother Baruto rarely goes to human cities. However, before he finished speaking, Fuya couldn't help but slap Baruto on the back of the head and said, when Lin Ke said strong, I meant that you have become strong in wisdom. Humans like this kind of implicit meaning in their words. I understand it very well, don't you think so, Lin Ke? Fuya showed Lin Ke a sorry for the embarrassment expression. Lin Ke. Fuya turned around and said to Baruto, look, I told you. The brain is like a muscle. If you exercise it more, it will become smarter. Look at you. Not bad. You really look smarter than before. Baruto showed a simple and honest smile and scratched a few cow hairs on his head embarrassedly. Then I will exercise more often in the future. Lin Ke, no, the brain should not be exercised like this. Okay, very good. And you should know that the strength of your wisdom has been recognized by Lava Duke Lin Ke. You should be proud of it. Fuya patted Baruto on the shoulder, feeling like watching his son grow up. Lava Duke Lin Ke's intelligence has been famous since he was a child, and now it is even more famous throughout Nasan. The wisdom that Lin Ke agrees with. Baruto's eyes lit up. Lin Ke no longer wants to talk, just say whatever you want. It's hard to communicate if you are of different races. Well, how about we go down first? And, Baruto, did you have something to do with your chief just now? Lin Ke didn't want to see these two funny guys making trouble here. The key point is that, although he is now stepping on the air pressure shield and hiding his figure, there are still many people below pointing fingers at him. After all, his invisibility is simply useless to many high-level strongmen, especially those who are perceptive. For example, Boruto can see through his invisibility. Lin Ke doesn't like being watched by others. It can only be said that these two guys are really careless. Oh, right. After Lin Ke reminded him, Boruto remembered that he did have something to do after seeing the chief just now. He slapped his head twice and said regretfully, "What did I have to do just now?" Lin Ke, well, if this head keeps slapping like this, sooner or later there will be problems. Please vote for the monthly ticket at the beginning of the month. Please vote for the monthly ticket for the explosive update. Chapter 555. Grand Unification Alliance. Boruto stood in the sky and thought for a minute, while Lin Ke and Axetooth waited for a minute. Finally, Lin Ke couldn't stand it anymore and strongly requested to go down. Otherwise, they would have talked forever in the sky. Then, Boruto remembered something as soon as he went down. It turned out that Nyx and Black Mountain heard the news that Gandalf the White was chasing the bloodthirsty and treacherous Fox Tronley, and then they came to the Axetooth tribe of the Minotaurs. Boruto had also seen Nyx, so he sensed the breath of his own chief, and hurried up to report. Unexpectedly, he said a lot of nonsense, but forgot the main business. Then Lin Ke met Nyx and Black Mountain in a slate house. The Fox people are starting to get chaotic. Lin Ke fell into deep thought. Yes, Lord Lin Ke. Hishin nodded. I went to find the person in charge of the Scarlet Wilderness. According to the news, there have been riots in no less than 123 fox gathering places, and there may be nearly 100,000 casualties. The fox gathering places include pure fox tribes, but not only fox tribes, there are other tribes. The fox tribe is large in number, but very scattered. In addition, fox people are naturally intelligent, and many fox people are even born wise men. There are also many ambitious people. Without a god to maintain the center, it is normal for chaos to occur. Have someone contact John, and arrange for someone to pick them up right away. Well, please ask the Dark Girl, Mr. Noble, and the Goddess of Finance, to ask the popes and priests of each secondary plane, who have the skills of teleportation and divine descent, to build a large teleportation array, and at the same time, arrange the settlement of the fox people. If they want to settle down, they will all be dispersed to live together in Fasadahuang City and Aznan. John will also arrange the rights and obligations of other residents. If necessary, he can go to Lin Ke. Going to Lin Ke means going to the Sleepless Emperor. Because Lin Ke also took into account that there would be other people interfering in this process, such as the Sun God, who would do something dirty. With John, they would still be difficult to resist, and even difficult to detect. But I guess, the Sun God will not take action. Although there were two outsiders, Axetooth and Boruto, present, Lin Ke did not hesitate, if I'm not mistaken. Now, what he and the Rat Lord think of, should be unification. As he said that, Lin Ke glanced at Axetooth, and saw that Axetooth's eyes had sunk, and he knew that he had guessed right. So he turned his gaze back to Black Mountain and continued, the Holy Life Alliance now has the largest land area, and may even be twice the size of the Everfrizz Council. However, the Rat Lord is indeed very resourceful, and has good means. Lin Ke smiled and looked at Axetooth. Chief Axetooth, if I'm not mistaken, the Rat Lord should have come to you, and asked the Tauren tribe to submit to him, right? Axetooth was silent for a moment, and did not speak. Boruto looked at Axetooth in surprise, then at Lin Ke, and finally at Axetooth, exclaiming, Chief. He knows. He knows everything. Axetooth helplessly slapped Boruto in the face, slapped Boruto against the wall, and then said, a few years before the Black and White Kingdom nobles' deliberation, the Lord came to me, and said that he was going to carry out a plan, to make the Holy Life Alliance comparable to the Black and White Kingdom, or even far surpass the Black and White Kingdom's plan. As Axetooth spoke, Lin Ke and his two followers also understood. Rat Lord, unite the entire Holy Life Alliance. Those who are willing to surrender will surrender, and those who are unwilling to surrender will perish. Lin Ke heard a strong smell of blood from the plan of the Rat Lord. By then, the huge Holy Life Alliance may fall into the separatism of clans and tribal clans of various intelligent life races, and then the long-term war will also have a considerable impact on the surrounding areas, especially on itself. This is a big piece of fat meat. Who doesn't want to take a bite? Lin Ke could imagine that by then, the nobles, lords, and families of the members of the Everfrozen Council of the various Black and White Kingdoms will smell the fishy smell, and everyone will go up to take a bite of the fat meat. But this is also necessary for the Holy Life Alliance, because when the fat meat is swallowed, the Holy Life Alliance will become leaner and stronger. The condensed Holy Life Alliance may become the first unified dynasty of Nasanj, and even a huge threat to the Black and White Kingdom and the Everfrozen Council, which is far greater than the current state. If the previous Holy Life Alliance was like a fat and aging old man, then the Holy Life Alliance after the change must be that kind of muscular young man. Of course, in this transformation process, there will be all kinds of dangers and all kinds of unexpected events. So I have to say that the Rat Lord is really a very courageous king. As Axia spoke, Lin Ke and the other two also became serious. Really courageous. Although they are in a hostile relationship, Lin Ke still admires the foresight of the Rat Lord. In a certain period of civilization, the Great Unified Empire or the Great Unified Dynasty can be said to be the most powerful. Compared with small countries and regional autonomy, the Great Unification is simply a big killer. But although Lin Ke attaches importance to it, he still knows his advantages in strategy. The strength of the Great Unification lies in cohesion and the person at the top of the pyramid. And what Lin Ke wants to take is the road of Great Wildernessism. The road of Great Wildernessism is strong in every individual. The gathering of countless individual wills is enough to defeat the will of the top person in the Great Unified Dynasty. Of course, Lin Ke will analyze the specific measures in detail. So he is going to take the road of Great Wildernessism with the characteristics of Nasan. So, Lin Ke, the fox people can leave, and they have reasons to leave, but we can't. Axia shook his head. The master has given us superior races preferential treatment. As long as we don't betray the alliance, he won't use swords against us. Do you believe it? Lin Ke shook his head. At least I don't believe it. Are you kidding? All of them have been operated on, and the remaining superior races will not move. According to history, at least according to the history of the previous life, after the establishment of the dynasty, the first group of people to be operated on were these people who were powerful and obeyed orders but not announcements. Axia opened his mouth, but finally closed it depressedly. He really couldn't say the words I believe. Bang! Boruto punched the ground angrily. Damn master. Then he was slapped against the wall behind him by Axe Teeth. Don't talk nonsense. Axe Teeth turned around and said to Lin Ke, but we can't make any rash moves, otherwise we might be used as a model of the master's prestige. Then, it should be okay for you to participate in the trade, right? Adding more is really tiring. In addition, thank you all for your awards. Keep on updating. Chapter 556, The Excellent Specialty of the Minotaur Tribe. You mean? Axe narrowed his eyes and breathed heavily from his big nostrils. You bought a large amount of goods from me, and I also bought a large amount of goods from you, so it's not too much to build a teleportation array to transport them? Lin Ke laughed. For large volume transactions, if the distance is too far, it is better to build a teleportation array, which is fast and cheap, and has the highest cost effectiveness. Otherwise, if various flying magic devices, convoys, etc. are dispatched, it will be too time consuming, and the consumption will be greater. There are also some uncertainties and risk factors. Therefore, it is reasonable for both parties to build a teleportation array to save costs. Indeed, Chief. Boruto came down from the wall again, and a huge bullhead came to Axe, with an innocent face. Chief, don't you like to read comics? Bang. Boruto was slapped against the wall again. Indeed. Axe said with a deep face, you are the famous town of Nasan in the Great Wilderness. I believe you must have something we need. But what do you want to buy from us? This old cow likes to read comics. Lin Ke raised his eyebrows, glanced at the Boruto recessed in the wall, and then asked, in that case, we should ask Chief Axe Teeth what specialties are there near your tribe. Specialties? Axe Teeth fell into deep thought. Halfway through his thought, he looked back at Boruto, and found that Boruto did not come to make trouble, so he said, weapons made by ourselves, monster meat. I don't know what counts as a specialty. As he said that, Axe Teeth shook his head. Lin Ke looked at the Black Mountain next to him, and Black Mountain just shook his head slightly. The people in the room fell into deep thought. To be honest, aren't the Tauran tribe, or most tribes, primitive tribes? If it is a secondary plane, it's okay. Even a primitive tribe will have primitive plants and animals that will make people's eyes shine. But forget about Nassim. If there is anything useful, it is estimated that those legends and gods of the Holy Life Alliance have already taken it away. Nassim had been plowed for a long time, and there were only some treasures in the lava swamp and the elemental forest. However, the treasures in them were difficult to obtain because of the monsters everywhere. Those who could obtain them were disdainful of obtaining them, and those who wanted to obtain them did not have the strength to do so. While they were thinking, there was a sudden panic outside. It's sick. It's sick again. Didn't it just happen a few days ago? How come it's happening again? It's said that it's because we don't have gods. Damn it, go find a witch doctor. Alas, this disease of ours. There was a lot of noise outside, and it seemed that the chaos was caused by illness. Axe's face sank, and he said, I'll go out and take a look. There was chaos around this wooden house, and it was obvious that a big shot of the Axe tribe was sick. Naruto's face also sank, and he followed Axe. Lin Ke gave Nyx a look, and also stood up and followed Axe. Nyx, you should know this. Lin Ke followed Axe and said, he is Nassim's first doctor, and he is best at saving lives and healing the wounded. Mr. Axe, please take me to see the patient. Nyx also said seriously, any disease has a traceable path. Although I dare not guarantee a complete cure, I will try my best. Since becoming a doctor, Nyx has discovered that most of Nassim's injuries are incurable terminal illnesses. Only a small number of them are caused by bacteria and viruses, which can be cured by killing bacteria and viruses. Most other diseases need to rely on the body to heal itself. If you treat the headache head and the foot pain foot, you will not achieve the ideal effect of healing in the end. Nyx has heard from Lin Ke that his thinking is the so-called traditional Chinese medicine thinking, and it is also the so-called method of treating the symptoms and the root cause. Although his doctor career has been steadily improved because of treating patients and improving the compendium of herbs, the more he improves, the more he finds that he is getting further and further away from completely curing a person. Therefore, at this time, he can only tell Axe that he will do his best and dare not say that he can cure all diseases. I know the title of Medical Knight. Axe turned around and looked at Nyx, whose body was only as tall as his waist, and nodded, thank you. However, after Axe looked at Nyx, he suddenly felt that Nyx's eyebrows and eyes looked a bit like his old friend, the Black Rabbit Man. So he couldn't help but ask, by the way, Mr. Nyx, may I ask who your parents are? Nyx was taking out various medical equipment and supplies from the space ring at this time, including scalpels with secret words such as disinfection and sharp magic collection bottles with hundreds of thousands of poisons classified into categories, as well as tweezers, gauze, scissors. Hearing the question from the Minotaur, Nyx took out things and hung them on himself while answering, my parents died under the conspiracy of the Deep Blue Grand Duke. Dead. Axe was stunned and then said nothing. Lin Ke took note of this. It seems that he is not the only one who thinks the Black Rabbit Man looks like Nyx. No, it should be Nyx who looks like the Black Rabbit Man. But now is not the time to talk about this. They have already arrived at the scene. Between the two stone houses, a strong female Minotaur was seen lying on the ground with red eyes, and someone was pouring water into her mouth. The roaring disease again. Axe strode over, and the others saw him and avoided him. A little Minotaur girl was kneeling next to the Minotaur with red eyes, and she was feeding the female Minotaur with water. This Minotaur was quite cute when she was young, with a pair of big eyes and two small horns that had just shown their tips. But when she grows up, she probably won't meet human aesthetics. Her mother was right next to her, and she looked like a majestic lady. Seeing Axe coming over, the little Minotaur girl rushed over with tears in her eyes, hugged Axe's thighs, and said anxiously, Chief, save my mother. Little guy, I brought the doctor from the Black and White Kingdom to treat poor Lady Lillian. Axe looked at the female Minotaur, and Nyx had already passed by. Nyx first suddenly pinched Lillian's wrist, then observed Lillian's mouth and tongue, and shook his palm to make Lillian's eyes move with his palm. Water. Water. Lillian subconsciously opened her mouth and moaned, but she wanted to drink water. red eyes, wanting to drink water, howling syndrome. Lin Ke was watching this scene from the side, and suddenly a flash of inspiration came to his mind, as if he thought of something important, but unfortunately he didn't catch this flash of inspiration. After a while, a green light came from a distance in an instant. Green breath. Along with the green light, came a serious and rude cow cry. "Weak rabbit man, take your hands away from my Lillian's hands." Chapter 557, Simple and Crude Treatment Method. Hearing this voice, Nyx just glanced over there, and then continued to diagnose. With Lin Ke, Black Mountain, and Axe Tooth there, he only had to care about the patient in front of him, not other things. And Lin Ke cast his inquiring eyes to Axe Tooth. "This is Lillian's uncle, our level 19 Bullhorn, High Priest, and also a level 14, Witch Doctor." Axe Tooth explained beside him. "He is an old man with a bad temper, and the worst thing is that his medical skills are very poor. Level 14, Witch Doctor, and Nyx is also a level 14 doctor. But Lillian's uncle is still a level 19, High Priest, similar to the level 19, High Priest. It seems that this uncle is very confident in his medical skills." After Axe Tooth and Lin Ke finished explaining, they immediately asked Boruto to stop the Minotaur. "Listen, Wolfumi, that's the chief's guest, and also a witch doctor." Boruto hurriedly ran forward, knocked the man to the ground, and then said, "The chief won't let you pass. Damn, you are too strong. It hurts me. Get out of my way. Those witch doctors are quacks. Let me do it. I found the true secret of medicine. Let me do it." The Minotaur named Wolfumi is also a strong Minotaur. On the surface, he doesn't look much older than Boruto, but from his eyes, you can see the vicissitudes of more than 10,000 years. Wolfumi is already an old man, even in the world of professionals. Of course, strength has nothing to do with age. Wolfumi. At this time, Axe came over. "Those people are my guests. Be polite." Wolfumi jumped up from the ground and widened his eyes. "Chief, that's my niece." Axe glanced at him. "Your niece has more than 6,000. This is the case that your unlucky sister has not given birth in the past few years. If she has given birth, there will be more." Wolfumi stared and couldn't speak. "Okay, let's take a look together and treat it together." Axe turned back and waved his hand. Boruto and Wolfumi followed immediately. At this time, Nyx's hairy palm was touching Lillian's abdomen. Axe saw it and immediately came to Lin Ke and coughed dryly. "Ahem, that, Lin Ke, when did Nyx add this step to saving people?" Although he stopped Wolfumi, Axe actually cared about Lillian, or he cared about everyone in the tribe. "No, I didn't touch it." Lin Ke shook his head. "Nyx is looking for the cause of the disease." Lin Ke looked at another person, but the man named Wolfumi raised his eyebrows and said, "Howling disease is a disease unique to our Minotaur tribe. Every Minotaur will get it when they grow up. Once a Minotaur with this disease attacks, they will feel very uncomfortable. They will howl at night and lose a lot of energy during the day. They are extremely dehydrated." Howling disease. Is this a common disease among the Minotaur tribe? However, Wolfumi's performance at this time has already acknowledged Nyx's treatment and even took the initiative to introduce this disease. It is estimated that he felt the fluctuation of Nyx's magic power. Our treatment method is usually to wait for it to subside automatically. It will be fine in a few hours. While watching Nyx's movements, Wolfumi walked forward and squatted down. Of course, in the case of my niece Lillian, it may take several days. Wolfumi looked at Lillian's eyes, waved his hand and shot a green light from his staff to illuminate Lillian. "All we can do now is to relieve the pain. I'm not afraid of pain. I'm the bravest warrior." At this time, Lillian, who was originally a little confused, muttered a few words, and then wanted to drink water again, with a painful look on her face. At this time, the onlookers also howled one by one. "Tauren warriors are the strongest. I'm fearless. Of course, except for my wife. Pain will only temper my will." For a while, the demons danced wildly, and even Boruto couldn't help howling a few times. But Axe Fang blushed a little, and then shouted to stop. At this time, Nyx seemed to have finished exploring Lillian's body, and Wolfumi also stabilized Lillian's spirit, so that Lillian was no longer so painful. Nyx stood up, and came to Lin Ke to communicate with him. After all, Lin Ke was the only one who knew medicine here. witch doctor, and doctor were two different systems with little commonality. Mr. Lin Ke, it's a chronic disease, Nix said firmly, and it comes from the lesions of the organs, not caused by bacteria and viruses. Organ lesions? Lin Ke felt as if he was about to catch the light in his mind, but he couldn't catch it for a while. Malignant lesions? But how can the whole tribe have this? Wu Fumia came over after hearing this. I have studied this disease for more than 600 years, and I know which part is wrong. Hearing this, Nix and Lin Ke turned their heads, and the other minotaurs who were watching also looked over. It's here. Wu Fumia casually stuck the staff into the soil next to him, and took out a rusty dagger from his arms, which shone with the light of magic secrets. Then he cut his stomach with a knife, and blood gushed out immediately. Halfway through the gushing, his body was shining, and the blood was flowing back, and floating around his body. Then he directly used his two hands with black mud between his nails to open his stomach, revealing his internal organs. Nix, Hishin and Lin Ke's eyes twitched. Nix was because it was unhygienic and not disinfected, while Lin Ke and Hishin were because this behavior was too direct and crude. It's here, this thing. Vaughn Mi poked a certain part of his internal organs, and Nix immediately thought, this is the gallbladder. Gallbladder? Gallbladder. Gallbladder. Lin Ke was shocked and blurted out, gallstones? Everyone immediately cast their eyes over. Lin Ke calmed down a little, and then said, Vaughn Mi, can you often take out pieces of stone-like things from here? It's at this position. Lin Ke pointed to the gallbladder in his internal organs and the various pipes outside. Nix didn't know what Lin Ke meant. Although he had heard of gallstones, kidney stones and the like, which were also treated with surgery, he could sense Lin Ke's slightly excited mood. As for Lin Ke, he was thinking about something in his previous life that was more expensive than gold of the same weight. That thing was called natural bezoar. This was natural bezoar, and it was bezoar from the magic world. Chapter 558 Tradition and Advancement. In Lin Ke's previous life, artificially cultivated and synthetic bezoars were very cheap, at least compared to natural bezoars. This is a gallstone and the gallbladder of a bovine animal of the chordate class mammal family. The gallstones produced in the gallbladder are called bile yellow, the gallbladders produced in the bile ducts are called tube yellow, and the liver ducts are called liver yellow. But no matter what it is called, the price of natural bezoars is very expensive, and it has a wide range of uses, especially in ancient times. For example, it can be taken internally to treat high fever, coma, insanity, infantile convulsions, etc., and it can be used externally to treat sore throats, mouth sores, carbuncles, and uremia. Therefore, natural bezoars are very precious and their prices are higher than gold. Most of the food that Lin Ke could eat in his previous life was artificial bezoars. For example, in his previous life, there were bezoar detoxification tablets and bezoar shanking tablets, which had similar effects. Experiments have shown that bezoar has anti-myocardial damage and antihypertensive effects, as well as choleretic and liver protective effects. In addition, it can also help fat digestion, activate pancreatic enzymes, and combine with a variety of organic matter to form stable compounds, thereby playing a detoxifying role. In short, bezoar has too many effects, so many slaughterhouses specialize in artificial cultivation of bezoar and raising a cows just for that bit of bezoar. When Lin Ke was a child, his classmates' family ran a cattle farm. It was said that some natural bezoars could be produced every year. Every time he produced them, his classmate could increase his pocket money, which made Lin Ke very envious. So he remembered bezoar. Now, it seems that the Minotaur tribe does not have no special products, but it does, and it is simply too much. This thing is called gallstones. Lin Ke tried his best to suppress his joy. He laughed when the whole tribe had this kind of gallstones. That was too capitalist, and he couldn't do that. Indeed, this thing is a stone. Vofmi nodded. Ah, well, organ. After a period of time, small stones will be produced inside, and after a period of time, there will be pain. The stone needs to be taken out in time. As he said, Vofmi put his thick fingers into his bile duct, stirred it, and then pulled out a stone the size of a grain of rice. He said to Lin Ke, in this bile, it's not bad to call it a gallstone. Lin Ke was a little uncomfortable, but Nix came over to look at it without hesitation, poked it, touched it, and then licked it. Just like this, the audience around him instantly decreased by 80%. Lin Ke was also a little helpless. Nyx has been like this since he learned about Shen and tasting hundreds of herbs. He wants to taste the saltiness of everything he sees. Lin Ke couldn't stop him. Although it was a little disgusting, Nyx was not like the guinea pigs in his previous life. He himself was a twin profession of doctor and poisoner. He could store poison and detoxify. If it was an irresistible toxin, his talent and bloodline would also give a warning. So, apart from the bad taste, there are no major drawbacks to tasting all over the world. As for the Tauren, most of the people who stayed behind were there to watch the fun, and most of the people who left felt a little disgusted, and it was also a common disease, so they ignored it. Axetooth and Boruto stared at it, while Volvermi squinted his eyes with a gleam in his eyes. I happen to know the effect of this. Lin Ke couldn't bear it anymore. He was not present when Nyx tasted these things in the past, but it was still a bit shocking to be there live now. So, everyone looked over. Effect. Why would you use these two words in the common language of Nasan to describe this stone? Lin Ke smiled and said, I know the origin of your disease. How is it possible? With a bang, Axetooth couldn't help it, and under the legendary aura, a stone house collapsed directly, and then Boruto smashed the collapsed wall into powder. Axe glared at Boruto fiercely, patted his head, and then looked at Lin Ke. This is impossible. How can our gallstones be related to meat? We have been eating meat for tens of thousands of years. Minotaur people are born to eat meat and drink. But this is indeed the reason. Lin Ke sat calmly on the stone bench. The stone table in front of him had been crushed into powder by Axe. Maybe, Chief Axe, you need to learn. The Great Wilderness University will teach this course called biology. But eating meat is our tradition. Axe breathed heavily through his nose. You will be weak if you don't eat meat. It's not about not eating at all, but a reasonable diet. Lin Ke was a little helpless. You are actually a primate with higher intelligence now. You need a reasonable diet, but you have no carbohydrates, no vitamins, no dietary fiber, only protein and fat. This will make your cholesterol high and block your blood vessels. The same goes for the bile duct and hepatic duct. Diet, this is a cause of your gallstones. Good guy. After learning more about it, Lin Ke realized that the Tauren tribe basically eats meat from morning to night. Every day when they go out hunting, they only hunt meat. The animals raised in the pen are pigs, chickens, cattle, sheep, etc. Vegetables and fruits are just seasonings, and there is no staple food at all. In addition, their diet is irregular. They go out early and come back late. Sometimes they go hungry for a few days before they can hunt. Sometimes they eat one meal for 3 days and eat the same meat for 3 days. With this irregular life, although the professionals will not die suddenly in terms of physique, it is very easy for them to have gallstones. Lin Ke even wonders that they have a lot of chronic diseases. Cows don't eat grass? It's amazing. Even if they don't eat grass, many people can actually live by absorbing magic power. Magic energy is one of the purest energies. Although it can't satisfy the appetite, at least the body will not be damaged. And if some strong people simply integrate their internal organs into an energy core, they will not get sick. Unexpectedly, the Tauren tribe is really, it's amazing. Thinking of this, Lin Ke shook his head and said, to be honest with you, Axe, this thing is called Bizarre. We in the Great Wilderness can purchase a large amount. We can purchase as much as we can. This is the goods I told you about before. I think you should be able to purchase it from all the Minotaurs, right? The price is 1 silver coin per 100 grams. This thing, you purchase it. Axe was stunned, and 1 silver coin for 100 grams. How many people are there in the Minotaurs? Axe doesn't know, but he knows that eating meat and drinking alcohol is not just a tradition of the Axe tribe. And, that's 1 silver coin. Converted to 100 yuan, a natural bizarre is only a few dozen yuan. Lin Ke also felt a little guilty. In his previous life, natural bizarre was the same price as the same weight of gold, or even more. But thinking that he could also bring a treatment method, Lin Ke's guilt was not so strong. The monthly ticket activity is out. Everyone, go to the book friend circle to participate. Chapter 559 Nyx recruits apprentices. Logically, I should have given it to you directly. Axe teeth touched his chin, where there were a few sparse cow hairs. After all, you can say that you have helped my Minotaur tribe many times. During the Noble's review, it was actually Lin Ke who helped the Minotaur warriors who went in. Otherwise, if they were on the opposite side of Lin Ke, it is estimated that every Minotaur who went in would become a slave. Now, the Minotaur tribe's roaring disease has been diagnosed, and it even seems that Lin Ke knows the best solution to this disease, which is the so-called adjustment of diet. Lin Ke is simply their lifesaver, and the entire tribe. No, brothers should settle accounts clearly. Lin Ke shook his head. 1 silver coin is 100 grams. I have already taken advantage. Logically, these natural bezoars should be about 20 times more expensive. You know, bezoars have a strong detoxification effect. Many secondary planes have unknown toxins, and there are also many poisons in Nassim. The poisoning state may be fatal. The detoxification effect of bezoars, made into medicine and sold, will be very effective. If it is the bezoars of these strong men. Damn it. How effective would the detoxification effect of the legendary strongman's bezoar be? Then let's do it. Axia obviously misunderstood something, and patted Lin Ke's shoulder heavily. We, the Tauran, will sell it at this price. Lin Ke saw this look, and knew that Axia must have misunderstood. He didn't know whether to laugh or cry. It really works. It's not what you think. Who knew that? As soon as Lin Ke said this, Axia's eyes were even more moved, and Boruto next to him was about to cry. Mr. Lin Ke, woo woo woo. Boruto's tears fell directly, and then Axia slapped him back. If you feel really sorry, let Asinan coins circulate here. Lin Ke said, that is, all transactions will be made with Asinan coins in the future. Okay, no problem. Axia agreed directly, then sighed and said, you don't have to say anything, Mr. Lin Ke. Let's set up a teleportation array now, and we will take out all the bezoars. We will definitely take out as much as a mountain. It's fierce enough. Lin Ke had to nod. Lin Ke would not let such an honest man suffer, and could only compensate him in other places. I have always known that the Lava Duke's thoughts are superior to those of Nassing, but I didn't expect that he is also so strong in medical skills. The witch doctor, Wufumi next to him sighed, and then looked at Nyx. In addition, the name of the medical knight is indeed well deserved. It's all because of Mr. Lin Ke's good guidance. Nyx said shyly, and compared with you seniors, I still have a lot to learn. As the pioneer and first person of a professional path, and a professional path with unlimited prospects, Nyx can be said to be the ancestor of doctors, and he has a good temper. Lin Ke is only responsible for telling Nyx some of the knowledge he heard and understood in his previous life. Most of the other medical systems are actually created by Nyx himself. Only Nyx himself knows the bitterness, hardship, and pain. Lin Ke himself will not be that kind of person, but he admires such people. Senior? Haha. Wufumi laughed. If he didn't know his age, he might think he was only 30 years old, but in fact he was more than 30,000 years old. Then, Wufumi said something astonishing. Boy, I will be your senior, you will be my teacher, and I will be your disciple. How about that? Oh, by the way, you call them students? I will be your student. Everyone was shocked when he said this. A dignified 19th level high priest, a powerful minotaur who has existed for tens of thousands of years, actually wants to become a disciple of Nyx. You have to know that Nyx is 5 or 6 years younger than Link. It would be normal for Nyx to become a disciple of Wulfmi. Axetooth frowned. Wolvermi, you have to know that high priest is a very important profession, which requires them to be responsible for the key work of their tribe's annual sacrifice to their ancestors. High priest is learning from someone else. It's just witch doctor Wufumi who is learning from Nyx, not high priest Wufumi. Wufumi waved his hand with a smile. It's not important. What's important is that I see a brand new direction, a brand new road that is different from the traditional road. But we can buy it. Fuya said in a deep voice. Dahong City is rich in professions. Lin Ke is good at inventing professions. I think you don't need to. No. Wufumi shook his head, looked at Nyx, then looked at Lin Ke, and said, I feel that I need to learn a lot. It's a pity that Lin Ke doesn't accept me. Otherwise I would also like to learn from you. That's Lin Ke. Andrew's disciple. If he learns from Lin Ke, wouldn't he become a member of Andrew's lineage? Nyx is okay. Although he has a close relationship with Lin Ke, he is a follower and his relationship with Andrew is not particularly close. Moreover, Nyx, I'm impressed by your qualities. Vophmi looked at Nyx sincerely. What I want to learn from you, besides medical skills and profession, is your attitude towards life. When Nyx observed and treated Lillian, Vophmi felt that Nyx respected and valued Lillian. In addition, he had heard of the name of the medical knight in Dahuang City before, and after seeing her with his own eyes, he discovered the characteristics of Nyx. That is a characteristic of equality and caring for life. You know, although Vophmi has always been talented in High Priest, his hobby is medical treatment. Just like Riven's talent is in the soul, but his interest is in art. Just like Wumian, although he doesn't know where his talent is, his interest is definitely in swordsman, and he even replaced his original nickname with his own nickname Dawn Swordsman. Vophmi, what he has always wanted to do, is to save the people of his tribe and cure the roaring disease. Who knew he would meet Lin Ke and others? I just came back from traveling in the secondary plains recently, and finally found a plant called copper coin grass, which can relieve the roaring disease. I didn't expect that it turned out to be a dire problem in the end. As he said that, Wufumia smiled bitterly. I should learn more new knowledge. Now I know that the most advanced knowledge place in the star world is Dahuang City. The master of Dahuang City is in front of me. I should become a disciple and learn. So, Wufumia looked at Nyx sincerely again. Please accept me as your apprentice. This, Mr. Lin Ke. Nyx was a little undecided. He has apprentices, and the problems are all those young people, the kind of scholars of level 4 or 5. This kind of professional who is more powerful than him, a professional of more than 10 levels, worships him as a teacher. The first to hear the truth, the one who is more accomplished is the teacher. What's wrong with that? Lin Ke smiled and said, of course, it's up to you to decide. Please vote for the monthly ticket. There will be another chapter in the evening. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 560, The Black Rabbit's Confinement Rules. In the end, Nyx accepted this old and high-level disciple. Of course, it was not entirely a master-disciple relationship, but a relationship of both master and disciple. Nyx meant that they should learn from each other, not one teaching the other. Thanks to Lin Ke's teaching since childhood, Nyx's thoughts were particularly similar to Lin Ke's, such as in teaching and learning. Lin Ke had told Nyx, John and others about the meaning of 3 people must have my teacher, and on teacher since childhood. Therefore, for Nyx, he would often ask the common people and farmers who were looked down upon by the nobles, and would also ask some children who could not speak clearly or the old people with blurred eyes. In short, he would ask and consult anyone who was worth learning from. Therefore, the several disciples he had accepted before were all teachers and friends in medicine, not one-sided teachers and students. Of course, that is not called a disciple, but a student. Disciples represent inheritance, all inheritance. And students just learn knowledge. But no matter what, Lin Ke not only kidnapped the entire tribe of Fox people, but also bound himself with the Axe-Tooth tribe of the Minotaur tribe, one of the superior races of the Holy Life Alliance, and prepared to build a stable large-scale teleportation array. In addition, he also harvested the precious medicinal material of Bizor. It can be said that this trip was really successful. However, it might be more successful if another puzzle could be solved at this time. Thinking of this, Lin Ke looked at Nyx, who had just accepted a disciple. Nyx, do you have any relatives in the Holy Life Alliance? Lin Ke wanted to talk about the legendary Black Rabbit, because the Black Rabbit lady really looks like Nyx, and this is when the other person's hair is black, and she is a woman. If the opposite is a man with white hair, it is estimated that he and Nyx are like a mold poured out. It's just mother and son. But Lin Ke knows that when Nyx was very young, some of their small tribes living in the lava swamp were all destroyed. Nyx is the only rabbit man who escaped, and his parents have died in that disaster. However, the people of those tribes are probably from the Holy Life Alliance, so the Black Rabbit lady is probably a relative of Nyx. And the blood is very close. Otherwise, they wouldn't be so similar. However, according to Liguan Mabi, Lin Ke also looks like Marshall as an N back then. Of course, it's not the eyebrows and eyes that look alike, but the temperament. Nyx and the Black Rabbit people are not similar in temperament, but in eyebrows and eyes. So, Nyx may really have a blood relationship with the Black Rabbit people. Relatives? Nyx looked puzzled. I shouldn't have. Actually, I'm not sure. My family disappeared when I was a few months old. Indeed, Nyx was only a little rabbit man of a few months old at the time. Although he was already half an adult, he didn't know much. Lava swamp. Axe next to him pondered for a moment. I can take you to see. There are indeed many people from the Holy Life Alliance living in the lava swamp. But after the Emperor Wumian gave the order that year, they should be gone now. Then I'll trouble you. Lin Ke nodded. Nyx lived with me when he was very young. As for his relatives, Lin Ke looked at Nyx. Nyx's ears drooped behind his head, and he shook his head slightly. In my life, apart from my deceased relatives, it is Mr. Lin Ke. He will never forget the glorious figure when he was most panicked, most afraid, and most in need of help. No matter what, let's go and take a look. Lin Ke smiled. You can take a look, but at this time, Wolfamir also spoke, but you should know that rabbit people often have many relatives. If the number of rabbit people is not too large, otherwise the rabbit people can probably become a superior life with their agility. Rabbit people have many relatives. Lin Ke thought of Nyx and Lalita back then, and nodded. Nyx's face blushed slightly. I have many nephews and nieces, because my relatives have combined with rabbit people, and as a result, the little girl kept giving birth. Wolfamy said helplessly to Nyx, Samirakia may be related to you by blood, but it should be very distant. Or in other words, basically every rabbit person may be related by blood. The fertility of rabbit people is simply amazing. But in the end, I decided to go and have a look. The legendary female black rabbit named Samirakia. Her imprisonment law made Lin Ke very jealous. I don't know what kind of law it is. If I learn it, I can capture slaves alive and sell them. The primitive accumulation of capital. Didn't the capital in the previous life start with black and yellow? Free labor, free slaves. So, Axe Teeth and Vorvermi took Lin Ke and others to the tribe where the black rabbits were. 2 Tauran tribes and 1 black rabbit tribe. These 3 tribes are in this area. They compete and support each other. It is a healthy competitive relationship. The 3 legends have a good relationship in private, and they are in an alliance of advancing and retreating together. When they came to thousands of miles away, they had already left the range of the Tauran tribe and entered the rabbit tribe. Compared with the concentration of the Tauran tribe and the quaint and tall buildings, the buildings of the rabbit tribe look small and exquisite, and there are many decorations, such as bright flowers or colorful stones. The tribe covers a large area, with small houses located on trees, on the ground and underground. In addition to countless rabbit people, there are also various small intelligent life forms such as raccoon people and rat people. At the same time, unlike the Tauran tribe, there are many farmlands in this tribe, and you can't see the edge at a glance. The farming method is similar to that of the Black and White Kingdom. Lin Ke even saw several acres of marked trees. Before officially entering the tribe, a rabbit warrior wearing leather armor and holding a sword and shield flew into the sky. Hello, Mr. Axe. Are you looking for Chief Samirakia of our Wormwood tribe? The rabbit warrior stood in front of them, then hammered his chest. Go and report. However, before he finished speaking, a law of power fell from the sky. Damasire, you dare to come back. As soon as the voice fell, a terrifying breath fell from the sky, covering Lin Ke, Nyx and Black Mountain, and instantly imprisoned them in the sky. You brought humans with you? Axe, thank you for helping me find the traitor Asire. The black rabbit's voice was filled with anger. Axe, huh. Let me kill this traitor right now. The black rabbit rushed up, his magic power boiling. I'll take a rest today. I was even more powerful the past 2 days. I didn't get enough sleep. Chapter 561 Mom? Question mark? Wait a minute. Axe was anxious, and he emitted a legendary vision, and rushed towards the black rabbit Samirakia. Axe, are you going to be my enemy for that traitor? The Black Rabbit Samarakia was obviously very angry. As legends, although they all have their own personalities, they are all strange. But when Lin Ke met Samarakia as Gandalf before, Samarakia was a cold and aloof woman. She lost her mind, so it was obvious that the traitorous eye she mentioned was Nyx. The problem is, they are not the same age. Lin Ke knew that there must be a misunderstanding, but he couldn't break free under the pressure of the legend, not to mention the legendary Samarakia who was good at imprisonment. He couldn't use the wand of annihilation because of this misunderstanding, right? Just imprison him. In fact, he also has a trump card. Except for assassins or long-range attacks, as long as Lin Ke is given a chance, Lin Ke can use the vision of will to give the legendary strongman a trance time, and then fight back with the wand of annihilation. The vision of will is never transferred by its own strength. The confrontation of visions is more like a confrontation of ki and momentum. Many legends can gain an advantage in the confrontation before the battle with the vision. Lin Ke's vision is a red of Lin Kesm. This red is even inferior to the black and white of Emperor Wumian. It is one of his trump cards. At this time, Lin Ke does not need to take action. Wu Fumia protected the three of them behind him, while Fuya transformed into a vision and rushed towards the Black Rabbit Samarakia. Samarakia also released a vision in shock and anger. It was a dark blue iron cage that enveloped the giant bull in Fuya's vision. Again, Fuya seemed to have touched a bad memory, but the vision was not so easy to retract, so he could only hit it. The two visions collided, and the giant bull rushed over with great momentum, but it was actually locked in the dark blue iron cage, and could not move after being trapped. Then the energy of the giant bull was absorbed by the iron cage like a waterfall, and it disappeared in a short while. The vision was broken, and Axe's face turned pale. He spit out a mouthful of the essence of the law, and then inhaled it, and then said angrily, "You are really doing it? Look, who the hell is that? Is that your sire? What did you say?" Axe said, and the Black Rabbit Samarakia couldn't help but look over. After a closer look, she found that Nyx looked very similar to a sire, and his eyebrows and eyes were almost the same, but he was not a sire. A sire was an 18th level strongman, and his age was not much different from hers. If the person in front of her was a sire, he should be older, or at least mature, instead of looking so young. But sensing that breath, the Black Rabbit Samarakia's expression couldn't help but become complicated again. There were people plowing the fields below, and at this time, a lot of people gathered below, as if they were attracted by the sound of their fighting. Although this is not the center of the tribe, there are still a lot of people. After all, it is a large tribe. Come with me. Samarakia's face was complicated. She removed the imprisonment of Lin Ke and the others, and then flew down first. Lin Ke and the others looked at each other for a few seconds, and then followed. Samarakia lived in an underground cave. Unlike other caves, the entrance of her house was extremely luxurious, with colorful flowers surrounding the cave entrance. These flowers looked radiant and full of magic power. They were all magical plants of higher level. At a glance, there were secret words such as fresh, hidden place, and beautiful flashing. Going down from this nearly 2-meter long and wide cave entrance, there were steps one by one, and all the light and bright runes were lit up along the way. Every time you go down a point, there are corresponding rabbit guards. You know, there are only 3 or 5 legends in the rabbit tribe. Samarakia is not only the only woman among them, but also a strong person with the law of imprisonment. Naturally, she is very valued by the rabbit tribe. Finally, they came to a residence. This residence seemed very simple, even ordinary. A table, a few chairs, a bed, a cabinet, a wooden box, nothing else. If Lin Ke didn't tell her, she would definitely think this was a cave where some poor people lived. Sit down. Samarakia sat down, and Fuya and the others sat down one by one. Lin Ke found that Samarakia's expression was extremely complicated at this time, with resentment, love, excitement, hesitation, and longing. At the same time, there was a trace of extremely strong maternal love. Maternal love? Lin Ke suddenly had some ideas in his heart. After they sat down, Samarakia glanced at Lin Ke and the others casually, and then stared at Nyx. She didn't say anything, just looked there, and her expression became more gentle the more she looked. Samarakia, this is the Lava Duke Lin Ke of the Black and White Kingdom. Don't you like his books the most? Let me tell you. Fuya smiled and started to introduce Lin Ke first, thinking that they would chat slowly and then bring up Nex's matter. But it was obvious that he was not very good at this. Chief, stop talking. Boruto pulled the corner of Fuya's clothes. Fuya immediately glared at Boruto. Children should not interrupt when adults are talking. Just stay away. The Holy Life Alliance can't help but flick their tongues when speaking the common language of Nasang, which sounds the same as stay away in Beijing dialect. Boruto immediately shrank his head and dared not speak. Wolfumia said helplessly, Fuya, you don't talk either. Fuya glared at Wolfumia, then looked at Samurakiya. Didn't I bring you a book written by Lin Ke called The Domineering Earl and His Cat Butler last time? Didn't you like it very much? What does your expression mean now? Fuya was also a little annoyed. As soon as he came, Samurakiya got angry. Now he tried to chat and build relationships, but was affected again. It was very annoying. Domineering Earl and His Cat Butler? This is. When did I write such a book? Exclamation mark. Lin Ke was stunned, and then Rika's cute smile and Lalita's naughty smile suddenly appeared in his mind. Maybe even Zio Nooma's cute smile. Oh my god. Lin Ke wanted to go back and spank them one by one. Facing this messy situation, the Black Rabbit Samurakiya's expression was still so complicated. But it seemed that, because Axe was being stupid, Samurakiya's expression finally restrained and became completely gentle. These years, you have had a hard time, right? The Black Rabbit Samurakiya looked at Nyx and sighed. My child. Stupid, idiot. I want a monthly ticket. Chapter 562. Ruins Guardian Asire. My child? Lin Ke raised his eyebrows when he heard the words of the Black Rabbit Samurakiya. Although he guessed that Samurakiya and Nyx were related, he didn't expect that this relationship was actually mother and son. Nyx was also startled. At this time, he tried to remain calm, but his ears were already standing up nervously. Miss Samurakiya, may I ask why you call Nyx? It is also possible that my child is just a nickname. For example, many gods like to call their believers my child when they deceive them. That's why Lin Ke needed to ask out loud. Because you are my child. Samurakiya had a complicated expression and looked at Axe. You should remember what happened about 7,500 years ago. The thing about Asire. Are you talking about Asire? Isn't he a traitor? What does he have to do with Nyx? Axe blinked. Then he looked at Nyx and frowned. Could it be that you are Asire in disguise? Lin Ke, Samurakiya, Vovme, Montenegro, Nyx, Chief, it's obvious. What disguise or not? Boruto was helpless. Then the next sentence, Boruto said, it is obvious that Nyx caught Asire, then stripped him of his tendons and farts, and then, you two shut up. Wolfumia roared softly, then looked at Lin Ke seriously and said, Lava Duke, our Tauran tribe is not like this, they are special cases. Samurakiya has been with the Tauran tribe for a long time, and has figured out the characteristics of the Tauran tribe, but Lin Ke and his people are not like that, so Wolfumia is trying his best to restore the image of the Tauran tribe. These live treasures. Lin Ke smiled helplessly, then looked at Samurakiya and asked seriously, Miss Samurakiya, can you tell me in detail? Everyone's attention was immediately focused. Samurakiya sighed softly and said, Asire, that was my former partner. But he betrayed me. At this point, Samurakiya's face became complicated and tangled. My mother is an 18th level high priest, and I have good talent, while Asire is just an ordinary ruins guardian. After we met, love began. But everything was premeditated. Asire's mother was controlled by my mother's enemy with blue heart leeches, and then Asire was ordered to contact me and assassinate me. Asire's mother was controlled by Samurakiya's mother's enemy with blue heart leeches, and then Asire was ordered to assassinate Samurakiya. But Lin Ke also heard the key words. Love. This kind of thing is small and fragile, and it is also small and fragile, and it is also great. If Lin Ke guessed correctly, love is to make Samurakiya emotionally entangled, and Asire's heart has also changed. Sure enough. Asire fell in love with me, and he told me everything. We have experienced ups and downs together, and have experienced a lot. As she said, Samurakiya's eyes became full of love, but then, her eyes became painful again. But he took away my life seed, my only life seed. That is my only life seed. My life seed can improve a person's magic level. Even if it is a legend, it can be improved by 1 level. This is the special physique of my father, inherited to me. Sire, he actually stole my life seed for promotion. I doubted, I believed, I was afraid, but the final result all pointed to sire, because he has been alive, and alive. For thousands of years, I searched the entire continent, and couldn't find him. Unexpectedly, I didn't expect that I could feel the breath of me and him. As she said, Samarakia looked at Nyx, you have some of his, and my breath on you. Life seeds can also give birth to life. So, it's not that he is still alive and absorbed my life seed, but that he combined his life with my life seed, allowing new life to be born. Nyx is a child of sire and Samarakia! Exclamation mark. As soon as this was said, everyone was shocked. Lin Ke was shocked by the bloody plot of Samarakia and sire, and also shocked by this new way of combining life. The combination of life seeds and life can also allow life. Is this how you all play, Nassim? The others were completely shocked by the bloody plot in Samarakia's words. 10,000 years of friendship, 10,000 years of love, and finally became his own son? But, my mother is not you. Nyx frowned. My mother is Ahua. Although my father has been missing since he was a child, my father must not be that powerful. Nyx briefly talked about his experience, and everyone's faces were immediately filled with sympathy. Samarakia looked at Nyx with more tenderness, and looked at Lin Ke with gratitude. You have the breath of sire on you, and there must be information left by him in your blood. We will know after we take a look. Samarakia seemed to understand something and confirmed something, and the resentment on her face had completely subsided. She waved at the cabinet not far away, and a beautiful red earring floated over. This is his blood cause. Once he dies, the blood cause will be broken. This is also the only tool I can use to judge whether he is alive or not. As she spoke, Samarakia handed the thumb-sized earring to Nyx, and then released a special skill. The skill hit the earring, and the earring immediately emitted a faint light. The faint light shone on Nyx's body, and Nyx closed his eyes immediately and fainted. Then a halo of light emanated from the middle of the earring, and the shadow of male white rabbit man appeared in the halo. This male white rabbit man looked very much like Nyx in his eyebrows and eyes. Nyx was simply a younger version of the white rabbit man. It's just that Nyx was gentle and polite, while the white rabbit man was full of a bohemian temperament. Obviously, this is the white rabbit man sire. Hey. Zio-hee-hee, it seems that you finally found our child. Haha, haha. Asire's voice was full of joy and teasing, as if he was making fun of Samarakia, making fun of her for finding their child only now. Lin Ke secretly glanced at Samarakia, but found that Feudal and the others were also secretly looking at Samarakia, but Samarakia did not have any emotional fluctuations, but her face was calm. It was as if her emotions were imprisoned. It was like the turbulent sea was imprisoned in a small glass bottle. Chapter 563 A New Legend. Powerful Assistance. Ruins Guard. Asire looks like a cool and handsome bard, without the calm temperament of the guard profession. But it must be said that he is an extremely handsome guy. At this time, Nyx fell asleep, so after seeing that Samarakia did not object, Lin Ke used the photo stone to record everything. Zio-hee-hee, do you know why I want to leave you? Haha, because I want to play a game with you. Although Asire's voice is uninhibited and frivolous, you can feel the doting and tenderness in his tone. Let's play a house game. I'll be the father and you'll be the mother. Then we'll raise a cute child together, and raise that child. As for the reward, Asire's image walked back and forth in place, as if thinking about the rules of the game, looking mean. Asire suddenly seemed to remember something, and then pointed at his face. The reward is me. A handsome, charming rabbit. As he said that, he smiled again. Of course, if you raise our child, you will naturally see me. I believe that with all my divinity and your life seed condensed, our child will definitely look very much like us. By the way, how did you say it? Those people have eyes like their fathers and faces like their mothers, but we have characteristics and personalities. Our child, one looks like me, one looks like you, and then the child looks like a zebra. Ha 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 ha. Samarakia is a black rabbit, and Asire is a white rabbit. If Nyx really looks like that, he might be a zebra. Unfortunately, Nyx is completely a white rabbit, not as long as Asaya said. But that was originally a joke. Forget it, time is running out. After Asaya laughed, his expression became vicissitudes. Asaya's image gazed at everyone affectionately. Of course, everyone knew that the person Asaya was looking at was Samirakiya. Everyone secretly glanced at Samirakiya again, and found that Samirakiya was still indifferent, as if she was a statue. Lin Ke bet that even the most indifferent adults might not be so indifferent when watching the most boring love movie. This reminded Lin Ke of the socially anxious AOF's face solidified the smile spell. Samirakiya, my love, please forgive me, please forgive me. No, don't forgive me, just treat me as a bad person, just like the bad person like the black grandmother back then. Asaya's voice sank, full of pain, entanglement, and sadness, as well as the long suppressed longing. The black grandmother was a jackal lady from the Holy Life Alliance, known for her cruelty and bloodthirstiness. Black Mountain explained in Lin Ke's ear. Asaya continued, I was threatened. A master from the Black and White Kingdom found me. He is powerful and wise, but hidden in the dark. I guess he is one of the princes, either the Mountain Prince or the Deep Blue Prince. He hides in the dark, but asks me to control you, to ask you, to influence you, so that you who have the law of confinement can become his helper, to confine the lava swamp, and to steal your life seed for his promotion. Otherwise he will ask the Black and White King to marry you. Marry you? How could I agree to such an arrogant, rude, stupid, and impossible request? How could I agree? Asaya's ears stood up high, and he cursed at the mastermind behind the scenes, but he fell down after a moment. But I know that, if you want to confine the lava swamp, it is likely to anger the showy and powerful sleepless prince, and you will be drained of your life in the lava swamp. So, I have a plan. I stole your life seed first, and took away the heart-stealing flower that I used to influence and control you, so that you would think that I betrayed you, and that I succeeded. The taste of the heart-stealing flower is indeed unpleasant, but he didn't expect that one of my skills is sacrifice. I came to the lava swamp to hide, and integrated everything I have into your life seed, and put it into the belly of a pregnant rabbit man. A small low house appeared next to Asaya, and through the crack in the door, a pregnant female rabbit could be vaguely seen lying and sleeping. Our child will grow up happily and joyfully. With the investment of you and me, his bloodline potential must be very high. If one day he comes to any tribe that knows you, you will be able to find our child. Now it seems that you have finally found our child. At this point, Asaya smiled. You know why I could only agree to that, prince. You also know the reason why I can't tell you. You also know that it is impossible for me to leave you like this. There must be a reason. But, Samirakiya, my love, you must also know that I love you. You asked me if I loved you, and I didn't answer at that time. I think I can answer now. I love you. I asked you, what if I'm gone? At that time, I was still troubled by my mother's side. What was your answer? Do you remember? In the face of eternal death, in the face of eternal time, in the face of the magnificent starry sky, I can finally confirm my love for you. Asaya's eyes contained various emotions such as nostalgia, pain, regret, etc., which were complex and vicissitudes, but the most common one was a kind of doting and gentle love. And in this kind of gaze, the brilliance on the earrings finally gradually disappeared, and fell into silence. Everyone's heart was suddenly mixed. Lin Ke always felt that Asaya had more hidden secrets in this process. After all, there were many unreasonable places, and many illogical places, that could not be determined. Fortunately, he could basically confirm that the culprit was undoubtedly the Grand Duke of Deep Blue. He just needed to tell Samirakiya about this conjecture, and he believed that Samirakiya would naturally judge it. And he could basically confirm that Samirakiya would definitely be his helper in the future. After all, she was Nyx's mother. The fruit of Samirakiya and Asaya's love was born through the belly of the rabbit man Aha, which was essentially like the pregnancy in the previous life. Aha was a carrier and a channel, and Nyx's real parents should be Samirakiya and Asaya. Of course, giving birth and raising are two different things, which depends on Nyx's own wishes. At this time, what is more important is Samirakiya's attitude. Lin Ke looked at Samarakia. She was still indifferent. Chapter 564. Return successfully. Moreover, as the story unfolded, Lin Ke also understood a lot of things. For example, the issue of Nyx's talent. Lin Ke had wondered before, how could Nyx, as an ordinary rabbit man, have such a promising talent? The talent level is level 13, and the most promising is ranked 11th. Except for the Andrew level, that is the bloodline talent second only to the peak level. Now it seems that this is the result of the joint efforts of Asire and Samarakia. At the beginning, Nyx's brothers and sisters actually had poor talents, but he was really the best, probably because of this. As for the culprit, it's obvious. The Grand Duke of the Mountains has always been known for his recklessness and lack of scheming, while the Grand Duke of Deep Blue is a representative of gloom and conspiracy. It seems that the Grand Duke of Deep Blue has been plotting against his will a long time ago. In this way, Lin Ke's family, including many followers, actually have a grudge with the Grand Duke of Deep Blue. For Nyx, this is the revenge of killing his father. Lin Ke looked at the sleeping Nyx and felt sorry for his follower. After knowing each other for more than 10 years, Lin Ke already regarded Nyx as a brother like John. The belief in equality in his heart made him have no sense of superiority and inferiority at all, and he also hated the noble status that came from blood in the previous generation. He hoped that a person's noble status was due to his noble character, outstanding ideas, hard work, fearless sacrifice, etc., which were obtained through his own efforts and noble soul. Therefore, because of his own special ideas, Nyx and others respected him more and became closer to him. He got along with his followers more like friends and relatives, rather than generals and soldiers. Thinking of this, Lin Ke looked at Samarakia beside him. Madam Samarakia, I think Nyx lacks a happy childhood. Samarakia was sitting on the bed at this time, looking at Nyx lying on the bed, and raised her head when she heard it. Mr. Lin Ke, thank you for taking care of Nyx all the time. If you need anything in the future, you can contact me at any time. But, you can't let me go to Dahuang City. Why? Lin Ke raised his eyebrows. If it's because of the sun god, don't worry, I have the sleepless emperor behind me. No, I'm worried about my people. Samarakia shook her head slowly. Rabbit people are fragile by nature, and they need a strong person to support them. I don't know about other tribes, but I must guard our tribe. This is my mother's last wish. This is also the place where Asire and I live and stick together. I see. Lin Ke nodded slowly and suggested, why not move the entire tribe to Dahuang? We can take care of each other. Samarakia choked. Axetooth, Baruto and Volvermi looked at each other awkwardly, feeling that this situation was a bit familiar. There are many people in our tribe, and they are very fertile. Samarakia hesitated. Food, housing, etc. are all problems. None of them are problems. Lin Ke smiled. The most lacking thing in Dahuang City is food and housing, but the most lacking thing is people. Ah. Samarakia was a little confused, but I'm not ready yet, and I should respect everyone's opinions. Quite democratic. Lin Ke smiled. We can build a teleportation array first, and wait for everyone to communicate and learn from each other, and get familiar with each other. By the way, Chief Axe and I have also built a teleportation array. Haha, in this way, the three of us can be considered to advance and retreat together. Samarakia glanced at Lin Ke helplessly. I was a little worried about Nyx and you before, but now I'm relieved. Then, Samarakia waved her hand. You guys go out and wait for me first. Axe, I know you very well in my tribe. You guys can go around and come back tomorrow. The hearts of several people sank. Although Samarakia didn't react at all when watching that video just now. But they all knew that it was just a disguise. Even bystanders like them felt heartache and pity, and were moved by their love. What about the parties themselves? Okay, then I'll take Lin Ke and the others for a walk. Fuya said in a deep voice, when you are ready, just send someone to find us. Lin Ke had no choice but to nod. Although Samarakia was Nyx's mother, he still gave Nyx a magic prop that could warn him for the sake of safety. There are many women who are twisted because of love. After finishing all this, Lin Ke went out with Fuya and the others. 2 days later, Nyx followed Samarakia out. Samarakia looked normal, but Nyx's eyes were red. In the past 2 days, John was very efficient. He had arranged 4 people to come to the Axe tribe to set up the teleportation array, and Ms. Black Mountain also arranged 2 small spaces in the 2 tribes, which were regarded as the bases of the Tuscolet wilderness. This large tribe of Black Rabbits has also become a strategic partner of the Great Wasteland City, and the relationship is even closer than that between the Great Wasteland City and the Axe-Tooth tribe. As for the trade between the 2 sides, it is rabbit hair. It is also possible to let the entire Black Rabbit tribe move to the Great Wasteland City. Samirakiya really has such credibility and command in her own tribe. But what Samirakiya said is indeed right. She respects the opinions of her people. Lin Ke thought so too. It is better to attract others to go than to force them. The advancement and civilization of the Great Wasteland City have a fatal attraction for tribes with difficult survival and monotonous life. Make full use of human desires. Use human subjective initiative to create value and then enjoy the value. As long as a long-distance teleportation array is set up, the Great Wasteland City is halfway to annexing the 2 tribes. In addition to the Bezoar of the Minotaur tribe and the Rabbit Hair of the Black Rabbit tribe, they also have a lot of minerals. There are even some small and medium-sized tribes that depend on them, and those small tribes also have a lot of minerals. This trip, the harvest is too rich. When John arrived here, Lin Ke knew that his operation had ended successfully. Next, it depends on how efficient the Huangcheng's administration is. The Fox tribe is going to migrate, and the Tauran tribe and the Black Rabbit tribe need to be attracted. It's really a headache to think about it, but fortunately, each of Lin Ke's followers can stand on their own, so Lin Ke can relax a lot. However, just after returning to the Huangcheng from the Holy Life Alliance, a person came towards him. Mr. Lin Ke, thank you so much. This is a young man with a young face, wearing armor and 2 gloves made of unknown monster skins on his waist. Lin Ke felt that this person was a little familiar, and he searched his memory before reacting. It's you? Chapter 565, Continental Travel Studies. I didn't expect you to still remember me. The young man in front of him smiled and said, thank you for the previous batch of slaves. No problem. Lin Ke also smiled. I didn't expect that you could become a level 18 strong man in such a short time. Well, I haven't felt this kind of aura, but it seems to be a profession on the side of swordsman. The young man in front of him may be about the same age as Lin Ke, but he is actually level 18. If not, Lin Ke would not have noticed him. Haha, although my name is the Knight of Justice, my long journey has made me realize that interests are not necessarily the most suitable, and the suitable is the truly suitable. The person in front of him is the Knight of Justice. Knight of Justice Artrix. Originally, Lin Ke couldn't remember this young man, but the second time, the pronunciation of this young man's name was too similar to Artrix in his previous life, so he remembered this name. This young man first met in the abyss before, and wanted to follow Lin Ke. Of course, Lin Ke refused. After all, it is impossible to accept anyone who comes. But the second time, Lin Ke remembered this Knight of Justice, because of the 2 words Justice and Artrix. And now, they met for the 3rd time. This Knight of Justice, who was unknown at the beginning, has now become an 18th level warrior. He seems to have experienced a lot, especially from his eyes. My interest is still to uphold justice, but my profession is a traveler. The Knight of Justice Artrix walked with Lin Ke and walked outside. Sir Lin Ke, let's talk while we walk. This is an open space outside the Great Wilderness City. Construction is underway to build a series of supporting measures such as a sentry tower, a reception desk, and a customs office, as well as roads leading to the city. So what do you think now? Lin Ke looked at Artrix. He believed that Artrix should know that followers are not casually becoming followers. This is true for both Lin Ke and Artrix. The Lord and the follower are people who can safely entrust their lives to each other, and there must be a sufficient foundation of trust. Artrix was too naive at the beginning, but now he should understand. Can I apply for a lecturer position at the Great Wilderness University? Artrix said as he walked. I have traveled all over Nassau and have become a righteous traveler. So I feel more and more the importance of having a backer. Oh. Lin Ke raised his eyebrows. I think the family behind you is not weak. He remembered that Artrix seemed to be a member of a certain earl's family. No. Artrix shook his head and smiled bitterly. The concept of justice I want to do can only thrive under the protection of your wings. Oh. Lin Ke became a little interested. What is your concept? He is not very interested in those ordinary level 18 strong men now. After all, only knowing how to fight and kill is completely different from being able to fight and kill. There is no point in keeping a reckless man who only knows how to fight and kill. But those who have strong thoughts, wills, and character can influence a group of people. Lin Ke needs such people. For example, there are so many thoughts and principles in the previous life that have influenced countless people in the future, which are great and admirable. But those who only know how to fight can only fight. Like Confucius, he was more than 9 feet 6 inches tall, nearly 2 meters and 2 meters tall, and he was proficient in the 6 arts of a gentleman, including ritual, music, archery, charioteering, and calligraphy. But what was unrivaled in ancient and modern times was his thought. He has received mixed reviews over the past thousands of years, but he still lives on today. It was not because of his martial arts, but because of his wisdom. Therefore, Lin Ke now hopes that someone can be like Confucius, not only strong in martial arts, but also in thought. Of course, in this society, knowledge is power. Thought is also power. Like spiritual explorer, René Descartes, as one of the founders of the idealist school, his thoughts in this field also made him powerful. René Descartes, who was at level 27, was only one step away from the master level. That's why Lin Ke tried so hard to retain him, and finally succeeded. If this young man who called himself the Knight of Justice could have outstanding thoughts, not to mention reaching the standards of various thinkers in previous lives for justice, even if he had his own unique insights, Lin Ke would be secretly happy. And the Knight of Justice was right to choose. How can starting your own business be as comfortable as being in the system? How can being in the system be as comfortable as being a teacher? The most comfortable teachers are those who teach adults, that is, teachers of junior colleges and undergraduates. There are holidays, there is a system, and they are respected. Moreover, if you are an old professor, you can concentrate all the classes on 2 or 3 days, such as Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and the rest are 4 days off per week. How cool is it? Therefore, it is normal and wise for the Knight of Justice to choose to enter the Great Wasteland City and become a teacher. It is impossible for everyone to think that they can become the richest man or a super double horse, right? Honestly and down-to-earth work, this is the kingly way. Artrix didn't know what Lin Ke was thinking, so he sighed. My philosophy? That is a kind of ideal justice. Let's not talk about it for now. I think what I teach is actually the mainland travel study. However, when the two came out, they saw Lin Ke, so they didn't finish their words. Lin Ke was riding on a very cool large special tricycle, with Xiao Nuomi in the hood. It is estimated that Artrix was brought here by Lin Ke. Lin Ke, here. Lin Ke waved, signaling Lin Ke and the others to sit in. Seeing Lin Ke's face darkened, and he raised his hand to stop Artrix from talking, and then the two of them sat in the cart. Lin Ke and Xiao Nuomi saw Lin Ke's face, and they didn't know what they had done wrong. So Lin Ke simply turned her head away and quickly counted the wrong things she had done in her life from beginning to end. She found that she had not done anything wrong recently, so she was relieved, and said to the back, let's go. In the cart, Xiao Nuomi saw that Lin Ke's face was not good, so she pretended to close her eyes and sleep, although it was very fake. Wife, life has been good recently, right? As the tricycle moved forward, Lin Ke's voice came slowly. Here it comes. Lin Ke's heart tightened, but on the surface she said easily, not bad. Didn't I just come back from the forest cabin? I tell you, the situation over there is developing well. You are really amazing. Husband, the first step is to explain your recent hard work and show that you are doing things seriously. The second step is to use words and coquettishness to persuade him, so that Lin Ke will soften his heart. Lin Ke felt amused in his heart, but on the surface he continued leisurely, oh. That's hard. Read more books in your spare time to relax. Of course I read them. Haha, haha. I love reading the most. Oh. I love to read too. I have read a lot of books recently. I wonder if you have read them. I really don't like the ones you read. Husband, oh, I read My Daily Life with My Brother-in-Law and the Domineering Earl and His Cat Butler. Do you like them? Ah. Andrew's leg. Chapter 566 Preparations for the 100 Schools of Thought Conference. Let 100 flowers bloom. Lin Ke braked and the tricycle stopped immediately. Due to inertia, Xiaonuoma's stiff body fell into Lin Ke's arms, but she was still pretending to sleep, as stiff as a statue. Very fake. Lin Ke knew that she was abnormal, and immediately started pedaling again, saying, haha, haha. What book is that? Is it interesting? Haha, haha. Her voice was calm, and it was obvious that she used sound magic to stabilize her vocal cords. HMPH, I'll deal with you when I get back. Lin Ke glanced at Lin Ke's, but with a substantial look. With Lin Ke's mental strength, this kind of deliberate look was no different from stabbing with a knife, making Lin Ke feel like sitting on pins and needles. Then Lin Ke turned his head and looked at Artrix. Go on, you are talking about continental travel studies? Are you sure you don't want to teach justice? Someone who is so passionate about justice that, even after going through so much vicissitudes of life, still chooses to regard justice as an ideal, but doesn't teach justice? Justice? I don't know myself. What exactly is justice? Is it the definition of most people in the world? Or is it everyone's self-awareness? Or what? Artrix laughed at himself, then said seriously, maybe one day in the future, I can teach justice, but that must be the day when I truly become a Knight of Justice. The nascent common language that Artrix spoke was clearly Knight of Justice, rather than Knight, with the title of Justice. There is an essential difference. One is that the professional trait is justice, and the other is that some behaviors are just called justice by people, or in other words, for the former, the professional trait must carry justice, while for the latter, the professional trait is just the professional trait of the knight. At most, the core belief is the belief of justice. Instead of teaching justice, it's better to teach what I've seen and learned along the way. Artrix sighed. After leaving the abyss and the family, I realized that walking on the earth, relying on faith and justice alone is far from enough. It also requires money, strength, wisdom, luck, sense of direction, good appetite, affinity, etc. For most people, this is the way they can survive in the world. I can't tell them what to do, and I can't say that what I say is right, but I will try my best to teach what I have heard and thought, and then I will teach in the university while studying justice. I like what you said, knowledge and action are combined into one. That is, the unity of knowledge and action. This is what can really make me enlightened. And my current actions are enough, but I need more knowledge. I think, calm down, experience and reflect with my heart is what I need. After speaking, Artrix looked at Lin Ke. Lin Ke smiled and answered without hesitation, it's an honor for you to join Dahuang University. I think the School of Geography is very suitable for you, and the teachers and students there will also welcome your arrival. Agreed. Artrix's eyes were filled with joy. Even though he had guessed the result, he was still very happy when Lin Ke really agreed. But, at this moment, Lin Ke changed his tone, which made Artrix nervous. Lin Ke, but, do you want to try to create a school? Recently, Dahuang City is preparing for 100 Schools of Thought conference. At that time, countless schools of thought will speak freely here, and countless new schools of thought will be established. Do you want to give it a try? Create a school of thought. 100 Schools of Thought conference. This is what Dahuang City is preparing for recently. After the invention of the Mark tree, everyone's basic food and clothing can be met. In addition, various commercial products have been created by Lin Ke, and the material living standards of the residents of Dahuang City have been greatly satisfied. Although the entertainment life is rich, the mind cannot be empty. He doesn't want Dahuang City to become a city of entertainment to death. Organize 100 Schools of Thought conference to stimulate the desire for knowledge and stimulate the potential thoughts of the residents. Thoughts can produce wonderful sparks in the collision. In the previous life, the humanities were the inner world of the person in charge, and the sciences were the outer world of the person in charge. Only when the two are combined can we reach the truly beautiful world. 100 Schools of Thought. Artrix instantly understood Lin Ke's plan, and his eyes suddenly burst into brilliance. Any school of thought is fine. Don't hurt others. As long as it makes sense and is logical, it's fine. Of course, if the doctrines are similar, they will be classified into the same category. This is really a great move. Listening to what Lin Ke and Artrex said, Lin Ke wondered, Lin Ke, why do you want to set up a school too? Didn't the school fail? Emperor Wumian had previously disbanded and abolished the system of the Royal Research Institute of the Black and White Kingdom. Many researchers and their school assets were taken over by the Great Wasteland City to form a number of research institutes in the Great Wasteland City. School? It's not the school itself that failed, but the system. Lin Ke laughed and said, the school of the research institute is for the purpose of studying various skills in various professions, and counting professions and skills as their results and performance. In this way, every researcher only wants to come up with professions and skills, but this is not correct, or rather, not entirely correct. Lin Ke continued to walk at a fast speed, but her attention was also diverted a little, and Artrex beside her was also listening carefully. Schools should study for the sake of research, and explore for the sake of exploration, and should not explore and study for the sake of money, performance, power, etc. In his previous life, Lin Ke had heard that someone went to study the hair of a dog after it got wet out of curiosity, and then applied for research. And the university he was in allowed this kind of useless research to exist. But it was precisely this research that later produced inventions such as drum washing machines. All useless research is likely to be useless only under the time period, technology, environment, etc. at that time. But under specific conditions such as specific time, specific place, specific technology, etc., some so-called useless research will bloom with amazing brilliance. The great place in the previous life was poor and surrounded by foreign enemies, so they could only use the best steel on the blade, not look to the future, but only to the present. But Lin Ke is now in the great wilderness city. He must look to the future, but also to the present, and even to the past. It is impossible to let people steal the past, right? So, if you want, you can form a school, and then find some people who just have the same ideas, and work together. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 567, The School of Physics and the School of Idealism. People with the same interests form a society. People with the same language and culture form a country. People with the same thoughts and knowledge form a school. I want to build a hotbed of thought and culture where people can speak freely, as long as they don't make personal attacks or insults, and as long as they can show a logically self-consistent theory, it will be approved. Lin Ke was full of confidence. What a prosperous and desirable place that would be. Artrex couldn't help but be impressed by Lin Ke. Lin Ke couldn't help but yearn for it, and listened in a trance, and then blurted out, "Husband, you are awesome." Lin Ke said modestly, "No, this is thanks to, oh, damn, wife, look at the mount. Look at the road. Ah, bang." So, Lin Ke, riding a tricycle, collided with a boy riding a flaming horse, causing a traffic accident, and Lin Ke was fully responsible. Afterwards, the boy didn't want money in any way. It seemed that he recognized Lin Ke, but in the end Lin Ke still paid the money, and then the three of them simply flew back. Artrex chatted with Lin Ke for a long time, and then he went to report to the School of Geography. But it is not so easy to enter the university. Lin Ke did not set up the university as a one-man show, but had his own internal assessment procedures. Even if Artrex wanted to enter the system of Dahuang University, he had to go through layers of assessment. After all, Lin Ke himself did not know whether Artrex was a villager or a wolf. Only after being selected through layers of selection could he have a certain confidence. After Artrex left, Lin Ke of course severely punished Lin Ke and told Lin Ke about this experience, which made Lin Ke cry. Of course, there were more than one place where she cried. Anyway, they were all salty. Wow, Samarasha is so pitiful, and so is Asaya. Uncle Shenlin is so annoying. No, I must let Magnus write all of this into a book and publish it. Bah. What book? There is no book. Magnus has never written any book. Rika quickly wiped her tears and immediately lay on Lin Ke's chest. She asked Lin Ke, "Husband, you are not allowed to leave me in the future, okay? No matter what happens, I will believe in you no matter what, and you have to believe in me too. Lin Ke looked up at Lin Ke's eyes, looking pitiful. Of course. Lin Ke was amused. While stroking Lin Ke's golden hair, he looked into her green eyes and whispered, Magnus is really good at writing. Lin Ke immediately shifted her gaze. What are you talking about? By the way, I suddenly remembered that there are still things to deal with in the forest hut. I'll come back and put you. No. No. Oh my god. It's going to break. Ha ha ha. Let you taste the hot lava. An hour later. TSK. I'm a Duke of Lava. I'm the daughter of the 5-colored dragon mother and the sleepless emperor. Lin Ke wiped the corner of her mouth, patted Lin Ke's face with a smile, then got up and put on her clothes. I'll go to the forest hut first. The caravan will be there soon. You wait for me in the wilderness. Don't be like a sire. With that, Lin Ke put on her clothes and went out, leaving Lin Ke with a pale face and thin body. This guy. Lin Ke didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Just now he was deceived by Lin Ke's appearance and almost became the cow that died of exhaustion. The 3 blood vessels in his mind absorbed element crazily, and his body recovered after a while. However, after such a commotion just now, he felt much more relaxed, and his mood of running around recently also calmed down. Of course, within a few minutes, the terrifying and hungry eyes of the dark girl came into his eyes. Then 3 hours later, it was almost evening, and the shy and reluctant face of the financial goddess appeared in front of Lin Ke again, along with her fruitful and delicious fruits. Then he stopped, especially when Lin Ke found the sneaky figure outside the villa. He was so scared that Buzzhow Mountain turned into a lowest slope. Damn it. Ruin, what's the matter with you? Get out of here. 2 days later, Lin Ke adjusted his state and went to Dahuang University to take a look. The students were studying enthusiastically, whether they were learning theoretical knowledge from books or learning practical skills. They were all very hard. Because there were gaps between students, a kind of healthy competition was created. Almost everyone knew what Dahuang City needed and what they should compete with each other. It's not a trendy brand. It's not a luxury. It's about level. So what if you wear a limited edition? You're level 10 and I'm level 16. So what if you have a lot of money? You're level 10 and I'm level 16. So what if you look good? You're level 10 and I'm level 16. And in addition to that, there are all kinds of scores, all kinds of rankings, and all kinds of awards, all of which guide students in the right direction. Without power, money, and sex transactions, universities should be places for research and learning. The deans of various colleges are all above level 20, extremely powerful, and no one dares to make small moves under them. And those legends, even those who are not familiar with them, know the consequences of offending the Emperor Wumian, the 5-colored dragon mother, and Andrew at the same time. Because offending Lin Ke is basically equivalent to offending those 3 big guys. Therefore, Dahuang University presents a thriving scene. But Lin Ke came to the School of Physics this time. Because John told him that the School of Physics and the Idealist School had a conflict, so a debate was held. Lin Ke came to watch the game this time. He also wanted to see what kind of sparks this most simple materialism and idealism could collide with. You know, debate is when both sides attack each other's shortcomings. Sometimes, the person who knows your shortcomings best is not yourself, but your enemy. When the enemy points out your shortcomings, you can solve that shortcoming in the next period of time. Therefore, debate is a way to inspire people's thinking and promote both sides' understanding of themselves. Lin Ke might also get new inspiration from it. Of course, in theory, this process is very safe. In the past life, at most they would just fight each other. But now, it is very likely to produce a headshot effect. In other words, because some concepts are shaken, the understanding of professional characteristics is shaken, and then the professional characteristics are contradictory, causing the entire soul space to break and explode. That is, a headshot. You know, at the event, when Lin Ke came back from Fasa, he said a legend was headshot. For nothing, that was the beginning of Lin Ke's strength. He said a legend was killed without any injury. Doesn't this have legendary strength? Anyway, the common people of Nasan don't know, so many twists and turns. People outside know that there is a strong man called Lava Duke on the continent, and people inside also know that their lord is very powerful. That's enough. Fortunately, Lin Ke's idea in his previous life was not to be superstitious about a certain truth, so he has always maintained an exploration of the world, and it is basically impossible for him to be killed by words. And today, Lin Ke came to watch the battle. Chapter 568 Phenomenology of Spirit. Keep doubting. Keep exploring. Don't think you have mastered everything. Don't think you are omniscient, at least before you are truly omniscient. With this mentality and thinking, at least Lin Ke doesn't have to worry about his head exploding suddenly. Because even if there is knowledge that transcends and violates the knowledge of the previous life, he can accept it with pleasure. After all, Nasing is indeed more advanced than Blue Star in many aspects in a certain sense. For example, Nasing has already started interstellar colonization, while Blue Star can't even leave the solar system, and even in terms of military force, it is estimated that it is insufficient. There are not a few planes that Woomian and other strong men have crushed with their bare hands, and those planes are continents and planets with complete rules and laws. In other words, calling Woomian and the others human-shaped nuclear bombs is a bit like an insult, just like blessing legendary strongmen with a long life, which is simply cursing others to death. Different planes, different worlds, different situations. Lin Ke can't use the standards of his previous life to measure Nasing, so even if he stands on the shoulders of a group of giants, he will not be arrogant about Nasing's knowledge. There was a commotion in Dahuang University. On the playground, swordsmen were fencing, knights were charging, and shield warriors were clashing. Especially outside the auditorium of the main campus, groups of people poured into the auditorium. Whether they were humans, tree people, tiger people, elephant people, or minotaurs, they entered the auditorium in groups of 3 or 5. Moreover, they were not divided into groups by their respective races, but by occupations, clubs, dormitories, colleges, and majors. A human man sat on the shoulders of an elephant man, a fox man and a conifer man held hands, and a frost wolf carried his tiger man brother. They seemed to blend together perfectly, without any racial discrimination. After all intelligent races have the potential to be promoted to legends, which is common sense. I heard that the dean will be here today. He gave us an open class, and it was very serious. Serious? Do you still remember Professor Snappet? Andrew's legs. I think of his face when you say that. By the way, have you heard about the white robe Gandalf of the Black and White Kingdom hunting down the gods? Puro, you can finally get rid of the racial shackles. The students chatted in groups of 3 or 2, and entered the auditorium, and then sat down. Most of these students are from other colleges, and there are also many from the School of Physics and the School of Culture and Civilization. These are also the 2 main debaters this time, the School of Physics and the School of Culture and Civilization. Of course, not all people in the School of Physics are materialists, and not all people in the School of Culture and Civilization are idealists. Materialism or idealism is widely distributed in every college. It's just that the Dean of the School of Physics, the King of Electromagnetism, Mr. Orth, is a typical materialist. Although the Dean of the School of Culture and Civilization, Mr. Noble, is not an idealist, this college is the one with the most idealists, and most of the teachers here are idealists. It happened to be the preparation period for the 100 Schools of Thought conference. There were many debates and fights between the 2 schools, so John, the Secretary General of Dahuang University, simply agreed to this debate. These students of Dahuang University have passed the first month of familiarization period, and now they are very familiar with Dahuang University and Dahuang City. After all, they do not have closed management, so they can enter and exit the school at will, which is very convenient. Some students from other areas other than Dahuang City have also integrated well into the atmosphere of Dahuang City, after being exposed to it. The relaxed and safe atmosphere, where they can eat and wear warm clothes without worrying about being killed, made them open their hearts and then burst out with a huge desire for knowledge. In addition, it is human nature to watch the excitement. There are many debates or fights between materialists and idealists in Dahuang University. After watching the excitement and learning more, they naturally have more and more doubts. In addition to professional knowledge, they began to doubt more have more doubts, and have more desire for knowledge. This is the attraction of this debate. Teachers can speak freely, and some selected elite students can also debate and refute. In this kind of debate, many people can definitely learn a lot. This is why this debate attracts students, although some people are just watching for fun. However, this debate can not only stimulate the thinking of debaters, but also stimulate the thinking of the audience, so it is a good thing, no matter how you think about it. So John agreed to hold it. And this is also the first debate of Dahuang University. The auditorium was packed, and it even felt like the beginning of the school year. Except for some people, who were in class, hanging out in the library, or chatting with people, doing important things, or who couldn't understand. Most of them came here. After the students came in, they saw that both sides of the debate had already taken their seats on the stage. The atmosphere of the seats is the judges' seats on the left and right sides, and in the middle. The left side is the materialist school, and the right side is the idealist school. The judges' seats in the middle are not for judging, but to maintain order and prevent the two sides from fighting. Basically, the deans of various colleges are sitting there. In the seats of the materialist school and the idealist school, there are 2 legends each. The materialist school is composed of a level 22 orph and a level 21 legend who is the director of geology at the School of Geography and Plains. The idealist school is composed of 2 less famous idealist professors, both level 21. The judges are 8 legendary masters, including the Dean of the Night Academy, the Giant Elephant Night King, the Dean of the Soul Academy, the Soul Reaper Ruin, the Dean of the Chemistry Academy, and the Volcano Lord Ingeldafis. Seeing this huge battle, many students became more excited. As time passed, at 7 o'clock in the evening, John, an ordinary figure, appeared on the stage. Although John is only a level 14 butler, in front of this group of legends, he is like a baby walker on an aircraft carrier. But no one dares to underestimate him. He is the Spokesperson of the Duke of Lava. Dear teachers and students, welcome to the first debate of our great wilderness university. Master Lin Ke said, stay sharp, stay skeptical, keep exploring, and never be proud and complacent. John made a brief opening speech, and then smiled and said, so, I declare that the first debate of the Great Wilderness University is now officially open. I will be the host, and now, please invite the first debater of the idealist side to speak. After John finished speaking, the audience rang out applause and cheers like a landslide and tsunami. Then, an ordinary teacher from the idealist side walked up to the central podium, looking a little sleepy, and there was an ordinary black beetle on his shoulder, which seemed to be a pet. Seeing this person, Orf couldn't help but twitch his eyes, and so did several other legends. Because they all recognized this person. I'm the first debater. What is that? Oh yes, the topic I want to talk about today is Phenomenology of Spirit. Chapter 569. Masterpiece. Spiritual Consciousness and Absolute Spirit. Phenomenology of Spirit. All the audience, especially the students, immediately had doubts in their hearts. And those teachers who knew the identity of the person on the stage, especially the star level, legendary, and god level ones, all had expressions in their eyes. Those who knew that the person on the stage was one of the founders of the idealist school, a ruthless person who could erase the memory of the intelligent life in the entire plane about him. With the phrase I think, therefore I am, this big guy instantly became one of the most difficult people to deal with. It was René Descartes. I didn't expect Xiaolin to really trick René Descartes into coming in. Orf suddenly felt a little tricky, but he remained calm and determined. And René Descartes also began his speech. First, I elaborated on the issue of truth. Truth is a process, which includes 3 aspects. Truth is not an isolated and static thing, but an organic unity existing in the development of concepts and things. Truth does not exist as direct knowledge, but is absolute. Truth and error complement each other. Then there is individual consciousness. I think consciousness refers to the consciousness within the subjective spirit, which is the subject's understanding of the objective object. The most basic forms of consciousness are sensation, perception and intellect. I call it the sensory certainty stage. The sensory certainty stage is a passive factor in the understanding of intelligent life. The truth recognized still lacks the self-existence of consciousness. In the relationship between intelligent life and the outside world, the determining party is still the outside world, not the intelligent life. Then there is social consciousness. As for essential consciousness, René Descartes was sleepy, but what he said was extremely mysterious. As he spoke, an invisible force descended from the sky, which was extremely vast. Feedback. Nassim's feedback. René Descartes' speech on his so-called book Phenomenology of Spirit actually received feedback. This feedback was so powerful that even other students in the small space could sense it. The legends on the stage also changed color. This feedback was so huge that it was definitely 10, 100, or even 10,000 times the feedback when they were promoted to legend. Could it be? Then, they all stood up at once, and their auras could not be controlled and became violent. Overlord. This was definitely feedback at the overlord level. Could it be? Could it be that René Descartes was going to be promoted to legend? Could it be that a new, great, supreme, and supreme overlord was going to be born under their noses? The audience also became excited. No one didn't know what feedback meant. They didn't know how much feedback was needed for the promotion of legends, let alone how much feedback was needed for the overlord. They only knew a lot of feedback. Didn't you see that even the dean stood up? However, there were also careful people who would find something fishy after thinking about it. You know, that was feedback that could shock a legendary powerhouse. How high a level of promotion would it be? However, just when everyone thought that René Descartes was going to enter the state of enlightenment and absorb the feedback, they saw him waving his hand lazily. Didn't I say that I don't want to be the master? It's so annoying. Let me continue. René Descartes muttered the first sentence, but said the second sentence at the microphone. Suddenly, the feedback from the crystal wall system, laws, and rules, which had never been rejected by anyone, disappeared because of those few waves. At the same time, René Descartes waved his hand lazily again, and a section was missing from the memory of all the audience below. Well, keep your mouths shut. René Descartes also glanced at the legends behind him without leaving a trace, and then looked at a place under the stage, where there was a familiar person, Lin Ke, you too. After the voice transmission, René Descartes continued to speak. Social consciousness is an objective spirit, such as the consciousness of our three periods of Nassim. And the legends on the stage also sat down one by one, pretending that nothing had happened, and continued to listen to René Descartes' speech. This is a knowledge that can be promoted to the master. Although they will not get feedback for creating and discovering this knowledge, it is always good to learn and understand it. Finally, at the end, after finishing his phenomenology of spirit, René Descartes' lazy expression suddenly became serious. The people in the audience didn't feel it, but the legends were all waiting attentively, especially orphaned others. Even René Descartes was serious. How heavy and terrifying knowledge must this be? René Descartes also said the last sentence solemnly, regarding this phenomenology of spirit. I will submit it to the Great Wilderness newspaper for commissioned publication. The current price is 1.25 ASIN coins. Friends who are interested, please go and buy it. It is fair. If you buy a certain amount within 1 month of publication, you can get a certain discount. The larger the quantity, the better. In an instant, everyone was stunned. What the hell? By the way, this is not advertising, right? I heard a friend who studies advertising talk about similar methods. Wow. It's so expensive. It's enough for half of the money for a cup of milk tea. I won't buy it. The students talked a lot, and so did the legends on the stage. What the hell is this? It feels like someone has created an atomic bomb that can displace the entire Eurasian continent by 7 centimeters, but the maker dragged it to the scrap metal tricycle of the second-hand market to sell it by pound. They even attach great importance to the weight, fearing that it will be 2 pounds less. You made a thing that can make you a master, but you told me that I can get a 98% discount if I buy 10 copies? And that female student, what do you mean it's not even half the price of the milk tea you drank? Aofu swore that he felt insulted and took note of the girl who just treated this great work as half a cup of milk tea. The great work that I can't resist and can't compete with, and even the work that others respect, is actually compared with milk tea. Not only Aofu, many teachers saw the girl, and the deans, all with complicated expressions. Gabriel, who was sitting with Rashab in the audience, felt the gaze of Orth, and immediately said to Rashab beside him excitedly, "Rashab, look, Dean Orth is looking at me. Andrew's leg, other deans are also looking at me. I'm so happy." Of course, Orth didn't have the leisure to care about other things at this time. He looked solemn and felt that he was under great pressure. The opponent was too strong. Even he was not sure of winning. However, he has always been a believer in truth and would not be swayed by anyone's will. If Renardesca had already mastered the truth, this place would not be called Nassing, but should be renamed Renardesca. What I want to talk about today is about a phenomenon. The socially anxious Orth stepped onto the stage. Phenomenologie Gests, that is Phenomenology of Spirit, Germany, Georg Wilhelm Friedrich Hegel, 1807. Chapter 570, The Great Road of Pursuing Truth. Renardesca returned to his seat on the right amid the applause, looking lazily at the front desk. Then, Orth walked up to the podium. What I'm going to talk about today is a phenomenon, an experiment. Of course, it's not a spiritual phenomenon. Orth was serious, his face was solemn, and his legs were even shaking a little, but he still overcame this fear very well. In order to prevent many people from not knowing, I will first conduct the first experiment, the electromagnetic induction phenomenon. Then, Orth waved his hand, and a series of props appeared on the stage. Iron rings, wires, magnetic needles, magnets, etc. Then, Orth began to arrange it himself, and then an electrical teacher on the side of the materialist stood up and explained. Orth first wound two coils on both sides of the soft iron ring, one of which was a closed loop, and a magnetic needle was placed parallel to the lower end of the wire, and the other was connected to the battery pack, and connected to the switch, forming a closed loop with power supply. This is electric current, and this is a magnet. We discovered experimentally that when the switch is closed, the magnetic needle deflects. When the switch is turned off, the magnetic needle deflects in the opposite direction, which indicates that an induced current has appeared in the coil without a battery pack. Lord Orth and our countless teachers and students conducted many experiments and eventually summarized the situations in which induced current is generated into 5 categories. Changing current, changing magnetic field, moving constant current, moving magnet, and conductor moving in a magnetic field. These phenomena were then formally named electromagnetic induction by Lord Lin Ke. Furthermore, Lord Orth discovered in the experiment that under the same conditions, the induced current generated in a loop of different metal conductors is proportional to the conductivity of the conductor. Therefore, we realize that the induced current is generated by an induced electromotive force that is unrelated to the properties of the conductor. Even if there is no loop and no induced current, the induced electromotive force still exists. In this process, we proposed Orth's law, Linkoff's law, etc. These laws have also been recorded in the electrical law system of the plain crystal wall system, and formed the current rules, electromagnetic. The narrator was a strong man of level 18. He explained in a simple and easy to understand way. People felt that they could not understand Orth's behavior at first, but they had a feeling of enlightenment after the explanation. So, their attention shifted from the perception of phenomenology of spirit to the current experimental phenomenon, and they were very curious. Then, Professor Maximum, with the assistance of Ms. Juliu, created the maximum equations, which is a quaternion equation system that expresses the basic laws of electromagnetism, a great invention. Force, electricity, electromagnetism, light. With Orth's experiment and the narrator's explanation, countless audiences were constantly aroused by curiosity and enthusiasm for 3 hours, and their attention was not distracted at all. Orth's experiment was very complicated, involving knowledge from multiple departments and majors in the School of Physics, so that the specialized students learned a lot of knowledge. Young people should be positive and full of curiosity, and should not be too deeply influenced by money, power, and sex. In addition, the narrator's tone was ups and downs, and he would make a joke from time to time, which kept everyone's emotions high. The audience's inspiration was also constantly bursting out. It turns out that electric current can be generated in this way. It turns out that magnetic force can be expressed in this way. It turns out that mechanics and electromagnetism are so interesting. It must be said that, although this experiment is very ordinary and common, it is so common that it makes people feel that ordinary people can do it. Some simple things, just by them. But the audience felt a kind of greatness of simplicity from this extremely simple experiment. Do you need very precious materials? Do you need very strong power? Do you need a very rare profession? No. The truth is not high above, but hidden in life and around us. After finishing the experiment, Orff also said, "These are all the experiments I have done today. I just want to tell you, the truth is not high above, and only legends and gods can understand and master it. The truth is hidden between you and me. Why do apples fall down when they are ripe instead of flying up? What is the mystery between the sun, the moon and Nassau? Why is there void outside the planet Nassau and in the astral world? How did the birth of intelligent life begin? What are the cornerstones and basic element for building the plane? Even our daily walking, raising our arms, hunger and joy, vision of our eyes, etc., have endless mysteries. That's why I stand on the side of materialism. There are too many unsolved mysteries in the world. The existence of gravity and the nature of gravity, the nature of electromagnetic force, the nature of light, as well as the astral world, void, planes, wisdom and other existences, all have countless puzzles waiting to be solved. I'm not denying the existence of the mind, the existence of the spirit, or the existence of consciousness. What I'm telling you is that the mysteries contained in matter are no less than those of the mind. Moreover, the mysteries in matter are more explorable, touchable, and understandable. Compared with the illusory mind, this is also the easiest way to reach the truth. Under the leadership of my disciple Lin Ke, Dahan University was established. I'm very happy to see countless students following us to explore the truth and pursue the ultimate mysteries of the world. And in this process, we continue to discover and explore. The more results we have, the more doubts we have, but I think this is progress. For example, after the discovery of electricity, we have all kinds of doubts, such as how electricity is generated, what principles its movement contains, where its energy comes from, and after the discovery of electromagnetism, the doubts have increased again. It is equivalent to a blank piece of paper. After discovering a point, you can extend the required point. After the new extended point is formed, countless lines and countless points can be extended. The more knowledge you have, the more doubts you have. But I believe that under the leadership of Lin Ke, all of us intelligent beings will unite, no matter how difficult it is, no matter how long it takes. One day we will be able to draw all the points and lines on this paper. And even if we don't fill the entire paper, this process of pursuing the truth is also very meaningful and valuable. Sincerely, I bow to Lin Ke's feet, to the wisdom of life, and to the mystery of truth. After saying this, Orff bowed deeply and returned to his seat. Boom. Suddenly, the audience applauded, and it was even more exciting and thrilling than René Descartes' speech just now. The grand ideal that Orff described at the last moment instantly made all the audience boil. Many people, both teachers and students, screamed to show their excitement and support for Orff's words. Some even cried with tears in their eyes, and some expressed their admiration without reservation. What a noble, magnificent, far-reaching, sacred, supreme and inspiring ideal. Countless people's respect for Lin Ke and AOF immediately rose by dozens of levels, reaching the top parent level, and set these two people as their fanatical followers. Even the legends and gods were moved, and began to enjoy the scene described by AOF. Even the influence caused by René Descartes was eliminated. They were imagining this great road of pursuing truth. Chapter 571 Science and Superstition. Chasing the truth is a long, grand and arduous journey. In Lin Ke's previous life, how many brilliant scientists have devoted themselves to it? Well-known scientists include Descartes, Maxwell, Zhuangzi, Newton, Faraday, Einstein, Yang Zening, etc. There are countless great men who stand at the peak of wisdom and knowledge, and uncover the truth contained in the universe bit by bit, inch by inch. Just like you gang moving the mountain, digging a handful of soil from the peak, one day you can move the mountain. However, in the previous life, even if it is a scientific career, that can be called a miracle and a great cause, you dare not say that you have mastered 1/10,000th or 100,000th of the truth of the universe. You must know that many myths and legends such as reaching the moon in the sky and catching turtles in the 5 oceans, traveling thousands of miles in an instant, Jingwei filling the sea, Yugong moving mountains, and so on are not fantasies. And these are not achieved by 1 or 2 people believing in fate, luck and feng shui, nor by praying to gods and buddhas one by one, but by countless scientists, countless scientific and technical personnel, and countless people. At least the so-called gods in the previous life did not grasp the truth. Of course, even the technological level of the previous life is far from the truth. Before truly mastering all knowledge and truly exploring the entire universe and the mysteries of the universe, no one dares to say that he has mastered the truth. As long as there are doubts, there are directions to explore. From this point of view, whether it is the previous life or the present, it is the same for Lin Ke. It is a long way from the truth. If the truth is an ocean, then it is meaningless to worry about whether it was a bowl of water in the previous life and half a bowl of water now. Therefore, Orth's speech not only inspired others, but also inspired Lin Ke. At least Lin Ke has become more determined on his scientific path. Whether it is materialistic science or idealistic science, whether it is philosophy, liberal arts, art, or science and engineering application, it is all part of science. Use science to lead the prosperity of the wilderness, the prosperity of NASA, and even the prosperity of this universe called the Star World. Why not metaphysics? Because whether it is the previous life or the present life, it tells Lin Ke that the so-called metaphysics and superstition are all deceptive things. For example, the previous life. Some people are superstitious about fortune telling. They say that they have been told by fortune tellers that they will be rich and powerful at the age of 40 or 50, or that they will encounter a setback at the age of 20, but everything will be fine once it passes. These are all rhetoric and tricks. Lin Ke sneered at them. What does it mean to be rich and powerful? What does a setback mean? Is 50,000 yuan considered rich and powerful? For the poor and penniless, it is true, but for the richest man, is falling down a setback? Or is it a setback when you are involved in a gunfight? Or is it a setback when you have a romantic relationship? Anyone with a normal brain will know that these are all ambiguous words, and they are absolutely deceiving. What is real fortune telling? That should be a strong man like astrologer, Debius that Lin Ke met in NASA, who cuts out a small section from some fragments of the past or the future, and then shows it to the person concerned. In other words, the so-called fortune telling is to tell me what happened to me in what year, month, and day in the AD, at what place, and with what people. This is a setback, and should be taken seriously. This is fortune telling. Otherwise, if you say I will be rich and powerful at the age of 30, I will live at home from now on, not studying, not working, not making progress, and eating, drinking and having fun all day long. If in this state, I suddenly become an official on the day of my 30th birthday, with endless wealth and splendor, in this case, this kind of metaphysics and superstition is very desirable. Lin Ke hated those superstitions in his previous life. Others studied hard for 10 years, did countless sets of papers, and wrote countless exercises, but in the end, others said this person is destined, and it should be like this, and attributed all their efforts to fate. Isn't it ridiculous? Lin Ke will still fight against superstitious behavior in this life. Fortunately, the sects in this life are not like those in the previous life, which can only deceive people. At least the believers pray to the gods, and the gods will receive them, and the gods will also deal with those prayers. Fortunately, NASA does not have the saying of 1 fate, 2 luck, and 3 feng shui. The so-called fate and luck, converted into science, are roughly equal to probability. What Lin Ke wants to do is to gradually return all superstitions to science. When people no longer believe in superstition, and no longer think that burning incense and worshipping Buddha can make up for others' hard study, people's subjective initiative can be fully exerted. Have difficulties? I think about it myself, and solve it myself. Instead of praying to gods and Buddhas, and then lying at home with peace of mind waiting for gods and Buddhas to help you solve it. In this way, the difficulties and problems of Dahuang City will not be thrown to those gods, right? As for science, why did Lin Ke believe in science instead of superstition and metaphysics in his previous life? At least in Lin Ke's previous life, it was proved that to solve math problem, you can't rely on worshipping one iron bodhisattva, but on deduction and calculation. To make a mobile phone, you can't rely on kneeling to Wenkwuxing or sun gods, bodhisattvas or buddhas, but on chips, buttons, storage, batteries, etc. That is, industry and technology. The car you ride, the plane you drive, the TV you watch, the mobile phone you use, the massage chair you use, the medicine you take when you are sick, the instruments for surgery, etc. Nothing is formed by you kneeling there and burning incense, and then a mysterious force gathers in the air to form a mobile phone, a car, etc. In ancient times, superstition told you that if Lei Gong and Dian Mu thundered in the sky, you had to burn incense and worship them, otherwise you would be struck to death. If the Dragon King made clouds and rain, you had to burn incense and worship them, otherwise the land would dry up and the world would be in drought. As time went on, people knew that there was no heaven above the clouds, especially after historical research. They knew that the heaven was just a beautiful fantasy of the people above the sky, and even the prototype of the Jade Emperor could be found out. However, new superstitions have emerged. Superstition tells people that marriage needs to be tied with a red string in the temple, rather than relying on sincerity and true heart. To pass the imperial examination, you need to worship Wenkwuxing, rather than talent and hard work. To have a good harvest, you need to worship the land and the Dragon King, rather than hard work and scientific planting and breeding. To make money, you need to worship the god of wealth, rather than knowledge, skills and judging the situation. There is even superstition that tells you that your personality comes from your zodiac sign. In short, thinking ability, logic ability, judgment ability, insight, and sharpness are the element that constitute science. It is not to believe everything you hear, nor is it the kind of blame shifting, that is, to blame fate and luck for not getting promoted or getting rich, or to blame fate and luck for not being the top scorer in high school. Some people even turn a blind eye to personality, environment, family conditions, educational background, ideals, economic concepts, life values, and many other reasons, and blame the zodiac sign for the incompatibility between two people. It's really off the mark. In short, Lin Ke believes that science is not a fixed doctrine like Confucianism and Taoism, but a method of judgment, a combination of multiple thinking abilities. You use the correct logic to deduce, verify, and observe a result. Even if this result proves that there are really Lei Gong and Dian Mu in the sky, and after careful logical research, it is found that worshipping them can avoid being struck by lightning, then this process and result are scientific, not superstitious. After everyone has verified the authenticity, they can go to worship. But if you are just guessing that there is no Li Gong and Dian Mu in the sky, but instead imagine that there are countless small balls in the sky that are rubbing against each other, and thus lightning is generated, and then you make a big fuss without verification, and then tell everyone that there is no need to worship, and that the electricity generated by those small balls will not strike you for no reason, then this kind of nonsense without logic and thinking is superstitious, not scientific. Science is a tool of wisdom and thinking. It is not Newton's law, not Einstein's theory, not Confucianism, not yin-yang theory, nor the physics, chemistry and biology that Lin Ke has studied. It is just a tool to help people observe the world and express it in concrete form. That's all. Of course, Lin Ke believes that in this life, there will be fewer superstitious people and fewer people who say some things you have to believe, and it's better to believe a little than not to believe. At least among the people Lin Ke knows, most of them have certain logical and thinking abilities. Thinking of this, Lin Ke smiled, and his inner positioning and understanding of science as a tool and truth as the end goal became clearer. He also looked at his teacher Aofu very happy that his teacher could find the ideal and belief to fight for his whole life. However, at this moment, the speeches of the first and second debaters ended, which also meant that the other debaters began to play. This debate was not the short and refined debate of the previous life. After all, the Nasan professionals were more energetic and could maintain a longer debate. And for Nasang, it seemed unnecessary to stipulate the proposition. At least before there was a controversial topic, there was no need to debate for the sake of debate. Therefore, a round system was adopted. Each round has different rules. For example, in the first round, the main debaters of both sides stated the topic and stated their own doctrines, concepts, ideas, experiments, etc. Then in the second round, the debaters on both sides can point out the shortcomings, deficiencies, inappropriateness, and unreasonableness in each other's topics. The more they point out, the more points they get. In the third round, the debaters on both sides responded to the points that had just been pointed out one by one. If the rebuttal was logical and reasonable, then there would be no deduction of points, but points would be added, and even the other side's points would be deducted, and vice versa. In the fourth round, the final debaters of both sides will summarize their speeches, including what shortcomings the other side raised, what their side responded and refuted, and what points the other side did not answer when answering their questions. After 4 rounds, the judges will show their own points added and deducted for this debate for reference only. After all, everyone may have different ideas about many shortcomings or rebuttals. Winning or losing a debate is not important. What is important is the thinking and insights stimulated in the process. Therefore, the final outcome of the debate will not be announced, and the audience will naturally have their own opinions on the outcome of this debate. Of course, the most important thing is to gain something from this debate. Chapter 572, Fierce Debate. The legend who couldn't help it. Rishabh was very excited. He swore that this was the most exciting day of his life. This debate, so far, has surpassed the debate between the so-called materialist school and the idealist school. Rishabh thought to himself that, for him, in addition to his parents, there was one more great person in the world. There were two before. One was Miss Julie, who was still fresh in Rishabh's memory because of her outstanding and wise mathematical mind. The other was Mr. Lin Ke, who was famous as a great epoch maker and a creator of a series of miracles. In his heart, he was a leader comparable to Andrew and Emperor Wumian. Even if he was not now, he would be in the future. And now, Rishabh believed that Orth was definitely not inferior to these two people because of his pursuit of the ultimate truth and his rigorous academic research. He was a great pursuer of the way. Rishabh fanatically worshipped these three people and also thought, if I want to be as great as these three people, maybe I can have a love affair and have a perfect love. Rishabh, look, is Dean Orth looking at me again? At this moment, Rishabh, who was looking forward to becoming great in the future and harvesting love, was interrupted by Gabriel next to him. No. Rishabh was somewhat helpless. Your Excellencies just glanced at you casually just now. Gabriel was so annoying. Rishabh felt that, if there was an obstacle in his pursuit of the truth in the future, it must be Gabriel. No, he must try to keep his distance. He must pursue the truth well, so that someone will fall in love with him. Rishabh made a decision in his heart, but Gabriel next to him was still shaking his arms, very excited. At this time, the second round of the debate began. The first to start was the idealist side. An 18th level teacher stood up and began to capture loopholes and seek shortcomings in Orth's speech just now. Dear Lord Orth, I respect your ideas very much, but from your statement just now, I found the following shortcomings. First, from what you want to express, I found that the doubts and problems of idealism can also be regarded as the doubts and problems in your so-called truth. If so, does it prove that you think idealism also has truth? If you think that materialism and idealism are both truths, then why do you use the word only to express the meaning of only and only? If you think that both are truths, then do you also admit that idealism is indeed the truth, and may even be closer to the so-called truth? Note that I use the word may. Second, there are two eternal contradictions between our two theories at the beginning of their establishment. That is, whether the astral world gave birth to matter or spirit first, whether it was matter that created or gave birth to spirit, or spirit that gave birth to matter. I think, Lord Orth did not express your point of view in your passionate speech. Instead, our Lord Renadi expressed the idea of consciousness and spirit. Third, fourth, fifth, 13th. This 18th level epic professional listed 13 shortcomings in a fluent manner. Some of them were for the sake of refuting, some were sophistry and concept substitution, and some even caused new topics and deviated from the main point. But it must be said that he also found out some shortcomings that really existed, including the experimental process and results, and also raised his doubts. In general, the second round of error correction on the side of idealism made many viewers feel like, yeah, why didn't I find this mistake just now? Even some legends didn't notice some points, and they did have corresponding doubts after listening. Then it was the side of materialism. Professor Inada's speech was very touching, but we also have many doubts, such as, the one who stood up was a white-haired old woman, also at level 18, with a serious and gloomy face, looking meticulous and extremely solemn. She also listed a full 28 mistakes, shortcomings, or confusions and unresolved problems one by one. It was more than twice that of the idealist side, and many of them made sense to Lin Ke. It was originally. Even if the Rendi is actually Renadeska, the idealistic inner spiritual things, that is, some empty things, are all different. Materialistic, the result you observe, is that water is water, fire is fire, 1 + 1 is equal to 2, and 2 × 2 is not equal to 1. But what about idealism? You say that human nature is good, I think human nature is evil. You say that the nation has bad roots, but I have many heroes. You say that there is a god in the dark who controls everything. I say that it is not a god, but a shabby who controls everything. Or I simply say that there is nothing in the dark, and everything is controlled by rules. Anyway, no one can convince anyone, because you can't prove it, and you can't disprove it. But materialism can be proved and disproved. So it is normal for this professor to list 28 points. After listening to the materialist side, the audience suddenly felt, hey, it seems to be true. Anyway, for the audience, it is like this. When they don't have independent thinking and judgment ability, they are like fence sitters, thinking that both sides have their reasons, and their logic is smooth and self-consistent. However, when it came to the third stage, the scene almost got out of control. After John announced the start of the third stage, the harmonious atmosphere of the scene suddenly changed. Look at the pocket watch in your hand. Can you imagine that such a sophisticated thing was created by intelligent life, and that even more sophisticated things like NASA were not created by some existence? Haha, even a brain like yours can think of a problem. Do you think countless people have not thought about it? But why doesn't everyone care? Because it is meaningless and useless. If it is there forever, and doesn't care about what you say or do, then does it matter whether it exists or not? So, family, friendship, and love, which transcend material and life and death, are also meaningless? Who said transcending life and death? Who said transcending material? I will give your wife a dominant godhood, and I think she will stay with me or you. Haha, you think the wife of the giant elephant night king is okay? Only materialistic idiots like him would put material things above all else. My lover has the purest soul. Ahem, I'm a judge, and some idealistic idiots please respect themselves. What, did you know that your son was slept with my grandson? How dare you call me an idiot? Hey, you old man. Have you had enough of making trouble? This is a debate. Hey, isn't this ribbon? What, you perky young man, are you missing my grandson again? But my grandson is really good. Soul, great destruction. The scene was full of people coming and going, new and old hatreds were all added together, and even many legends were dragged down, and finally even the judges suffered. The auras of a series of legends such as the giant elephant night king, Riven, and AOF were shaken one by one, and some people were even affected. Speaking of Lin Ke almost took out the annihilation rod to kill the professor. These old bidons, why are they so mean? Of course, except for teacher AOF. Chapter 573, Unprecedented Hot Discussion. The debate ends. Fortunately, there was someone who still kept his sanity. That was René Descartes, who had a look on his face that said I'm playing badly. He first signaled to Lin Ke, then used the lava scepter and the authority of the president of the Great Wilderness University to suppress the magic and laws of the riot here. With great pressure and skills, he fixed everyone in their seats, who could only stare and move their mouths, but not move their hands. Then, he sat aside and watched the show. He even teleported out to buy 5 bottles of beer and 2 plates of fried milk flavored crispy fruits. His originally lazy expression also changed. His eyes were shiny, like 2 magic light balls. scanning the battle situation in the field back and forth, while he ate and drank with relish, with a happy face. Lin Ke swore that, if he couldn't beat him, he would definitely go up and punch this handsome uncle in the face. Finally, the time was up. John concealed his inner panic and helplessness, and quickly announced the end of this stage, and then entered the fourth stage. The people on the stage were released from control by Renair despots, and resumed their actions. However, the next moment, someone else wanted to take action. But at this moment, a figure suddenly appeared on the stage. This was a handsome young man with brown hair that was neither long nor short, a handsome face, a slender and tall figure, and muscles that were between strong and lean. The young man held a scepter made of dark red metal. His aura was only at level 14 at most, but there was a great sense of oppression in his gestures, and wherever he looked. This is Duke of Lava. Everyone, be well. Lin Ke first turned around slowly, and pounded his chest at the legends, who had already stood up, as well as Professor Wei Xinfang, who had to stand up with a sneer on his lips. Mr. Lava. Mr. Duke. Mr. Lin Ke. Mr. Duke. Everyone returned the greetings one by one to show their respect for Lin Ke. This kind of respect is because of who is standing behind Lin Ke, not only because of the achievements made in these years, not only because of Lin Ke's status as a duke, but also because of Lin Ke's past achievements and his potential. Lin Ke once said a legend to death. It was at the slave auction, after returning from Phaser. How many people can kill a legend with just their mouths? Anyway, the legends know that, although the Emperor Wumian shouts that he is a swordsman, he actually kills legends with just his mouth. But that was when he used the king skills and rules. And Lin Ke, just by talking to a legend, made a legend explode on the spot, which is undoubtedly very deterrent. Just like in Lin Ke's previous life, it was easy for the Emperor to use his mouth and rules to kill millions of people. But it is very difficult for a person to make another person spit blood and die with his mouth. There are only a few people in the past and present, and the most famous one is a villager with a double surname. So, no matter what, these legends now basically give Lin Ke the same respect. You have to know that in nothing, a person with great power may be just a reckless person, and he will be beaten to death by a weak person. Wisdom and knowledge are more powerful. If everything Lin Ke has shown, since he was 6 years old, is called wisdom, then the intelligent life is not worthy of being called intelligent life. Moreover, after just 1 month of entering the university, many teachers have felt that the bottlenecks that have not changed for hundreds, thousands, or even tens of thousands of years have loosened. Therefore, everyone present respected Lin Ke very much. The originally restless mood and fists also calmed down because of Lin Ke's appearance. Everyone, well, after Lin Ke saluted the professors and deans, he turned around and saluted the audience, and the audience stood up and returned the salute. Then, Lin Ke's lava scepter moved, and a position was generated in the audience. Everyone, please continue your debate. Lin Ke sat down with a calm face, and then looked at the people on the stage. As a result, the people on the stage became polite. Eat someone's mouth and be grateful, and take someone's hand and be soft. Teaching at the Great Wilderness University is not only about getting paid, but also about a lot of benefits. Moreover, applications for equipment, planes, experiments, etc. must also be approved. For example, people like Aofu, who originally only had one space of his own, can now apply for a large plane through the Great Wilderness University to conduct experiments. Even if they need something, they can exchange it from Lin Ke. Lin Ke doesn't have Wumian or Andrew. Such good benefits. If you are treated badly because you offend Lin Ke, it will not be worth it. So the people who just acted like shrews and scoundrels are now sitting upright, just like a group of enlightened monks who are about to pass away. In response to the questions raised by the other debaters in the previous rounds, our responses are as follows. The other debaters' speeches are wonderful and make people linger, but the questions they raise make us disagree. The reasons are as follows. Although the two sides were in the last stage, they were still arguing with each other. But in the end, this debate finally ended. Although there were many problems, it must be said that both the idealist and materialist parties, including the audience and the judges, benefited a lot from this process. Moreover, many people also remembered the process and form of the debate, and their hearts were full of inspiration. Some professors also planned to apply for several debates, to use the wisdom of the crowd, to check for deficiencies in their own doctrines, thinking and ideas. Finally, the judges also showed their scores for the 4 stages of the 2 teams. However, whether it is fair or not depends on what the audience thinks. For example, a certain giant elephant night king and a certain soul harvester gave 0 points instead of 25 points to the 3rd stage of the idealist side, which was obviously due to some personal grudges. As for the 1st stage, all the judges undoubtedly gave a full score of 25 points. There are 4 stages, each with 25 points, and a full score of 100 points. The scores given by the judges are different. The audience also gave these stages scores in their hearts, and they also had different feelings and ideas. In short, this debate ended successfully. After the game, this debate recorded in the photo stone naturally sparked heated discussions, and the debate between materialism and idealism in Dahuang City also fell into an unprecedented upsurge. Discussions on negation of negation and electromotive force judgment can be heard at any time in the streets and alleys. Of course, before that, after the game, Lin Ke found René Desca as soon as possible. With René Desca teleported to the principal's office, Lin Ke looked at René Desca's lazy and begging appearance and couldn't help but have a headache. But thinking of the massive feedback he had felt before, he couldn't help but ask René Desca seriously, sincerely, heartily, and caringly, are you sick? If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 574 New book released. Logic. I'm sick. René Desca couldn't help but be stunned. How many years have passed? Ever since he was promoted to legend, even his enemies and opponents have respected him. After he was one step away from becoming the master, everyone around him became good people, without a single bad person. Before knowing his identity, let's not talk about it, but after knowing his strength, who would dare to be a bad person in front of him, if they were weaker than him? After many years, suddenly a junior who was not even a tadpole in his eyes suddenly asked him if he was sick. This is, hey, it seems, a little exciting. This different feeling made René Desca a little excited. How did you see that? Seeing René Desca's excited look, Lin Ke couldn't help but hold his forehead. Is this guy McDonald's? Why did he get angry after being scolded? Lin Ke was sure that René Desca might really have some illness in his head, and it was hard to say whether it was a brain tumor. Forget it. It's your own choice. Of course I respect it. Lin Ke waved his hand helplessly. I just think it's a pity. René Desca smiled when he heard it. Then why can you be promoted to level 15 but not promoted? Well, I know, it's all my own choice. Lin Ke nodded. He just figured it out. What if others don't want to be the master? Does it have anything to do with you? Don't worry about it. There must be reasons for others not to become the master. Just like Lin Ke, who wants to be promoted in the most perfect posture. Even if René Desca is not, it's not much different. When I'm promoted to the master, almost everyone will forget my existence. René Desca smiled nonchalantly. Even legends and weaker masters are not immune. Everyone will forget his existence! Exclamation mark. Lin Ke was shocked. What a powerful assassination ability, what a powerful reconnaissance ability, and what a powerful loneliness. How lonely it would be if only you know yourself in the world. So, I've been looking for a breakthrough, and now it seems you seem to be one of the breakthroughs. René Desca patted Lin Ke's shoulder gently, with an expression of I'm optimistic about you. However, this action made the beetle on René Desca's shoulder very dissatisfied. It seemed that Lin Ke had attacked it before, and was resented by it. I'll try my best. Lin Ke didn't know what to say. This kind of pressure was really not something he could bear. You called me here, not just to tell me that I'm sick, right? René Desca continued. Do you need to tell me that? Lin Ke didn't know whether to laugh or cry. It's not true. I want to ask, what do you think of the word logic? Logic of thinking? Rene Desca raised his eyebrows. I have some ideas, but it's too troublesome. I'm too lazy to think. What? Too lazy to think? I want to compile a book called Logic. Lin Ke turned around and sat down at the table, motioning Rene Desca to sit down as well, and his expression became serious. As you said, it is a theory that explains thinking and logic. This is also inspired by you, so I need your help. Logic. In the previous life, the width, acuity, breadth, and depth of thinking logic have always been one of the standards for measuring a person's intelligence and wisdom. At the same time, it is also a subject to exercise people's thinking. Many people clamor that 80% of the mathematics they learn are not used, which is actually true. In daily life, addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division are almost enough. It is impossible to use the Fibonacci sequence, right? However, the importance of learning mathematics in elementary school, junior high school and high school lies in that it can exercise people's thinking and logical ability. Studies have shown that the deeper the grooves in the brain, the smarter and more agile the person's thinking. However, it is still a bit far-fetched for all college students, especially nursing students, to learn mathematics. So Lin Ke thought of logic. Although he had not studied it in his previous life, he had looked through his roommate's book. He couldn't remember it at first, but fortunately he was a scientist on the scholar's side, so those memories were as clear as a knife and an axe. But there are always some omissions, so someone needs to help him get it out. After listening to Rene Desca's phenomenology of spirit just now, Lin Ke felt that there seemed to be some prototypes of logic in it. Oh, logic? Tell me about it. Rene Desca showed an interested look, and he felt that this name had a fatal attraction to him. All thinking has two aspects, content and form. The content of thinking refers to the object and its attributes reflected by thinking. The form of thinking refers to the different ways of reflecting the object and its attributes, that is, the different ways of expressing the content of thinking. From the perspective of logic, the three basic forms of abstract thinking are concepts, propositions and reasoning. Lin Ke said the essence of logic, which is the study of thinking. I think the fundamental role of logic is a tool for theoretical thinking. Among them, the first is a cognitive tool that helps people to correctly understand things, explore new results, and obtain new knowledge. The second is an expression tool that helps people to accurately, rigorously and clearly express their thoughts and establish new theories. The third is a persuasive tool that helps people make more rigorous and persuasive reasoning and arguments. The fourth is an analytical tool that helps people expose fallacies and refute sophistry. It helps to think correctly, distinguish right from wrong, and get to the bottom of things. Lin Ke's eyes became brighter and brighter, and were filled with a different kind of spirit, exactly the same as when he talked to Andrew about the scientific system. With the tool of logic, more and more theories, research, and experiments will be discovered, invented, and created by professors and students. With this tool, NASA will become more prosperous. More prosperous. Although the tool of logic itself is not a technology, it can make more technologies be discovered or invented. Rene Desca was also attracted by the look in Lin Ke's eyes and Lin Ke's words at this time, and said to himself, logic is very interesting. Then, he smiled and looked directly into Lin Ke's eyes. I kind of understand why that little guy Ruin likes you. Rene Desca looked at Lin Ke carefully. Lin Ke's momentum suddenly deflated, and he was horrified. What the hell? It seems that a lot of philosophers like Plato in the previous life were gay? No way! Exclamation mark. Haha, I'm very interested. I'll do it with you. Rene Desca laughed, and Lin Ke's face turned black. Can you put a subject and object in your words? What do you mean by interested? What do you mean by doing it with me? Lin Ke was helpless. Then the next sentence shocked Rene Desca. Oh, now that I have learned logic, I should be able to unify the two kinds of thought, materialism and idealism. Chapter 575 The Birth of Dialectics. Unify the two kinds of thought, materialism and idealism. Do you know what shocking words you are saying? Rene Desca's pupils trembled. Instinctively, he thought Lin Ke was joking, like the joke of hey, I can be the president of Tencent Penguin tomorrow, after receiving a salary of 2,000 yuan. What do you mean that after the publication of Logic, he can unify materialism and idealism? Lin Ke looked at Rene Desca and laughed, then said, "Don't you think that materialism and idealism are too contradictory? Have you ever heard of contradictory and unified? Contradictory and unified?" Rene Desca narrowed his eyes, and a faint breath emanated from him. Lin Ke immediately took out the lava scepter, because he felt that this was the breath of Rene Desca himself, the kind of breath that easily made him dizzy and forgetful. With the lava scepter, the authority of the sleepless emperor on it immediately freed Lin Ke from the trouble of this breath. However, Rene Desca's was only out of control for a moment, and he immediately restrained that breath after reacting. In logic, I will expound a point of view of mine, that is, dialectical thinking. Lin Ke himself was also a little excited. The dialecticism that swept away all the monsters in the previous life is finally coming. No matter what it is, you can see clues under dialecticism. It is also because of dialecticism that most people in the world have discovered that the truth is not black and white, but has 7 colors, and even has invisible spectra besides red and purple. As for dialectical materialism or dialectical idealism, it depends on each person's choice. How is electricity generated? You can look at it dialectically and use dialectical thinking to experiment. Is human nature good or evil? You can also look at it dialectically, not black and white. In the previous life, matter was primary and consciousness was secondary. Consciousness is a highly developed matter, the function of the human brain, which is the reflection of the objective material world in the human brain. Dialectical materialism believes that the material world moves, changes, and develops according to its own inherent laws. In this life, all the souls that were not discovered in the previous life have been discovered, and the true spirit in the soul also exists. So many people support the primacy of consciousness. In Nasanj, Lin Ke also had to study and think before he could compile dialectical materialism and dialectical idealism, and both of them belong to dialectics. The tool used by dialectics is logic. And all of this is essentially the rational activity of intelligent life understanding intelligent life and intelligent life recognizing intelligent life. It is a study of the basic and universal problems of the world in the construction of a theoretical system about the worldview. And all of this is also science. Philosophical science. Whether it is materialism or idealism, it can be collectively called philosophy. But philosophy is not just materialism and idealism. The long-term struggle between the materialist school and the idealist school has made both of them think that there are only 2 kinds of people in the world, either believing in materialism or believing in idealism. But what about other things? Art, cognition, logic, faith, ethics, etc. are all in the category of philosophy. In some aspects, materialism and idealism are unified, that is, the goal of pursuing the ultimate truth. There is no need to be a life and death struggle, no need to be black or white, and the fusion is colorful. From now on, there will be no 2 schools of thought, materialism and idealism, but only schools of philosophy. In the future, schools of philosophy will also be integrated into science and become philosophy science. Philosophy science is one of the humanities, and humanities and natural sciences are 2. And these 2 are collectively called science. Just like some people like to eat coriander, and some people don't, but both groups like to eat vegetables. Then some people like to eat vegetables, and some people like to eat meat, and these people all like to eat. Then there are some people who like to eat, and some people don't like to eat, but they all need to eat. The quarrel between materialism and idealism is like people who like to eat coriander saying that people who don't like to eat coriander are heretics, and then quarreling and fighting. There is no need. They are all studying science. Everyone respects each other, seeks common ground while reserving differences, and makes progress together. 1 body, 2 systems is enough. Science, that's it. This is science, and this is also my profession. Scientist. Lin Ke's eyes were shining, but Rene Desca could no longer control the breath in his body. A huge, complex, and mysterious breath erupted from Rene Desca's body. But this breath was different from the volcanic eruption of the insomniac emperor. Rene Desca's breath was like a breeze and a light rain. It sneaked into the night with the wind, moistening everything silently. The mighty light wind whistled past, and countless people in the great wilderness university were stunned for a moment, as if they had turned into statues. including legends and gods. Their laws and godhood could not stop this breeze at all. Only Ruwen's face changed drastically, and then his eyes became dull after a second. All of them lost consciousness. And this breath was very terrifying, and the entire space, where the main campus of the Great Wilderness University was located, was filled with it. Under this breath, buildings, flowers, and plants suddenly felt erratic, just like the asphalt road that was scorched by the sun. Erratic, flickering. It was like the world reflected in a soap bubble, and it was like the absurdity in a dream in the middle of the night. In this change, some flowers and plants disappeared, some papers and books seemed to have a kind of life, and some buildings exuded a thrilling atmosphere. And this change is even spreading from the main campus along the space channel to the campuses of other colleges. Enough. Renaissance. However, at this time, a low roar spread throughout the main campus. What followed was an overwhelming red color, the red of the Great Wilderness flag. In this red, there are farmers who are cultivating mark trees, pastry chefs who are making beetle bread, knights in training, firefighters who are exhausted after extinguishing the fire, students who are reading books, lawyers who are upholding justice. These shadows gathered into a mighty Great Wilderness red, which filled the entire Great Wilderness University with a sweeping posture. Then it confronted the aura of nothingness, weirdness, absurdity, weirdness, and strangeness. The phantoms doing their own things in the red seemed to open their mouths at the same time and uttered a word. People. This is the most standard and purest Nassan common language, composed of sentences. With it, the people can have enough food. Defend the justice of the people. No matter how big the fire is, the people need me. The greatness of the people, the determination to study. Sentence after sentence, some light, some roaring, some stating, some crying, converged into these two words. In an instant, red covered everything, and the breath from Renaissance was swept away in an instant. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.